So we were, talking about it in the huddle, and Joe was saying, Freddie, I'm going to come to you. And then as we're breaking the huddle, he's like, Dwight, be ready.
Don Landry is 6 yards away from his 6th Super Bowl. And, of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. It's a madhouse at Candlestick with 51 seconds left.
Dwight was so slow. Took him forever. I always joke with him and go, God, it took you forever to get back there and slide.
As I started back across, Everson Walls was right beside me. He had me covered. I remember seeing the ball coming and thinking, wow, that's pretty high. Joe just put it in the exact spot that it had to be. Another magical play by Joe.
I was wondering, how come you never see Joe celebrate shots with Clark?
That goes back to the regular season meeting in '81.
They had said we didn't play the real Dallas Cowboys, so they didn't respect us. Joe just immediately spins around, suddenly starts going back the other way, and you're going, hey, Dwight's that way. Where are you going? He turns around and gets in Too Tall's face. Said, respect that, Blankety Blank.
It was pretty cool. It came off my tongue, It's not typical, but it was going on with everybody throughout the game, so there was always talking going on in this game.
The play that started it all. Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. Welcome along. Shank Club NFL. New green screen, as you can see, courtesy of L. Sleepy Floyd. Reached out to him, asked him to do me something special for the show. That's what he's come up with. Love it. Hope everyone is doing well today. I know we got some American friends on and it's early out there. So glad to have you along. Super wild card weekend. We have to wait till 9:30 p.m. UK time tomorrow for the Niners game. But my co-host, unfortunately, is going to be going through the pain sooner rather than later. There he is, Mr. 25-pound haircut. Oh, how are you, sir?
You did have to flip and say that. I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Yep, we play tonight. Nervous as hell. But this has now become personal between the Patriots and the Bills. There is no love lost. We're ready for them. We're going to give it all they got. And the whole NFL landscape has been, and it's going so exciting throughout this entire weekend.
Yeah, it's good. There's some great games coming up involving a lot of teams. Right, we've got some more guests. Let's bring a few on. Let's bring in a new guest to the show. All the way from California on about an hour's sleep, I think, because unfortunately she thought we started at 9:30 on the West Coast, but unfortunately it's not. It's 6:30. Red Jet Shell, how are you? Welcome along.
Well, good morning, afternoon. Hello there. I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, all good here, all good. So how much actual sleep have you had, just out of interest?
I think about 6 all told. So I'm good.
6 minutes, I'm guessing.
6
not
whole
6
minutes.
hours.
Yeah, no, 6 hours. I'm good.
Well, it's good to have you along.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I was the prettiest person in the room until you showed up. So at least you can bring some glamour to proceedings. What do you think of Carl's $45 haircut and shave?
Oh,
is he rocking it, or is it?
He looks wonderful.
Oh, thank you, Jet. Much appreciated. Nick, I would say go F yourself, but we have a lady in the stream, so no, I can't say that. So
trust me, I expect she'll be using more colourful language than we will, but that remains to be seen. Let's bring in someone else.
I would say the show's broadcastable, but it's not.
Definitely not. Paul.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
I've got my Jimmy G on like you asked for, Nick. So I thought we'd start Shank Club with Twitter's going to burn down Red Jet Shell because over here in the UK, the Jimmy and the Trey is just as bad as it is over on the States, I'm afraid. So Nick asked me to rock my number 10.
I love it. You look great.
Thank you very much.
Has to be done, you see, because I don't own a Jimmy G jersey. I own a Trey one. And an interesting fact, apparently this week, one of the arse hats that I had to mute, I paid $180 for a Trey jersey just for effect to come on the show. $180, yeah. Good luck with that. I'd have much rather have bought a couple of really good cigars and a couple of nice bottles of wine, actually. But that's another story. All good though. Oh yeah, good week.
Yeah, it's been good. Looking forward to the playoffs. Obviously, like you said, we start tonight for us 9:30 in the UK. Carl, bless him, going through all the emotions. For me, it's my first Cowboys 49ers playoff game. So it's been interesting seeing. I jumped on a Twitter space, Nick, earlier in the week that Shell was on. And my God, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
There was one dude going crazy, and he was on a couple of other streams. To be fair, I've engaged him on Twitter, but he was a very angry 49er fan, which I didn't get. But I'm excited, mate.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Now, Carl, the next person I'm going to bring on, I'll let you introduce yourself and also what you did this morning in his
This is your show. No, this is your show, not mine.
Jeff, it's been a minute. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you? And ladies, how are you?
Good morning.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't know if you heard, Jeff, but when I messaged Carl yesterday and said Jeff's coming on the show, and he got up extra early this morning, went to the barber's, had a haircut and a shave because he wanted to look presentable just for you, but then he spoilt it by wearing a Mac Jones jersey. What do you think to that?
Wow. I tell you what, he's a Patriots fan, so he better fly the flag proudly.
Thank you, Jeff. And you're the only person in humankind that can actually rock a Hawaiian jersey. Just saying.
Actually, I
appreciate that, man.
Jeff, that you don't have your Hawaiian shirt on, actually. I thought you might have added a bit more colour.
I'm saving that for game day.
It's good to have you along anyway, Jeff. Really appreciate your time as ever. And I see that you've moved clubs recently. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce your new team. Hamilton T-Cats was easy, but I'll let you say where you are now.
Montreal Alouettes. Alouette is French it's a little bird in French. And so that is the franchise in Montreal. It's a historic franchise. Been 7-time Grey Cup champions. And it's the place where, a number of really, really good players have played over time. And, tremendous tradition. And I'm excited for the new challenge.
Awesome. I knew there was a reason why you'd gone from Hamilton, but obviously that announcement didn't come until afterwards because I was scratching my head thinking, Jeff's up to something. And then bang, I saw the tweet. So, yeah, it's all good. Obviously, you're back in the UK doing the Sky NFL with Neil, etc., etc. How's that been going so far?
Outstanding. It's amazing how much the game has grown here, and not only the popularity of the game, but like whether you're on the street and you meet somebody that's a football fan and they stop and want to talk football with you, or what we do on Twitter or with the podcast or the appreciation for the nuances of the game, the knowledge about the game, the knowledge about the players, the draft, players coming up out of college football. I mean, it's mushroomed and it's unbelievable. And really, a lot of this has to do with the success of shows like Shant Club, because it's an opportunity for the fans in the UK to interface with fans all over the world and, talk about your favorite teams.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot, as you know, there's a lot of content creators out there now in the UK, various teams, etc. We try and obviously be as unbiased as we can, but it's very difficult when most of my friends are Niners fans. So, Carl, bless
You
him.
have never. Now, wait a second. Now, I'm gonna call BS on you on that one because you have never been non-biased. You wore that San Francisco red and gold proudly since the first time I met you.
That's very true. That is very true. But I try and be as unbiased as I can on the show, but obviously that never happens.
You know, my eyes aren't very good, so I don't have my glasses on. And when I first came into the show, I saw you sitting there and I thought, damn, he looks like Bruce Arians. You had all the red on and your glasses and that white beard. I said, shit, he looks like Bruce Arians.
I wish I had his paycheck every week. Let's put it that way. I'd feel a lot better in life, I think, if I did.
How would you like to have his quarterback?
No, I'll stick with what I've got. Thank you.
All right.
Don't. I'm not going to get drawn on QBs. I get in trouble when I do that.
Hey, you know, I talked to our buddy yesterday. I had Jesse on my podcast, and it was so much fun to hear him talk about the rivalry that exists between the Cowboys and the 49ers.
Definitely. And I know people sort of, I won't say newer fans of the 49ers or 49ers fans of a certain age think it is the real rival. You know, the rivalry is with the Seahawks and the Rams in recent years, but it's not. This is the rivalry against Dallas. And I was talking to someone the other day about how refreshing it is to see some of the old school teams in the playoffs again. I mean, your Raiders are in there, obviously the Niners, Dallas. You know, it's going back to the old school. And some of these young upstart teams aren't in it, which is good. I mean, I'm quite shocked that the Ravens aren't in, but then, they were masters of their own doing, I think. Freddie, I was trying to catch you eating. Unfortunately, I didn't when I brought you on, and I'm disappointed. I wanted everyone to see you shoveling crisps in your face.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Afternoon, all. Afternoon, Jeff.
How you doing, Freddie?
I'm representing the mighty Steelers, going all the way.
I was going to say, if you're eating, it better be a Pittsburgher.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've gone to Primanti's.
There'll be an egg later when the Chiefs wax the Steelers, but that's a different story. And talking about the Chiefs, here he is. He's got his McDonald's uniform on again.
It's playoff time, baby.
Drive through. Scott,
yep.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you all doing? Good to see you, Nick, Carl. Nice to meet you, Shell. We got Freddie in here. We got Coach in here. We got Paul in here. Yeah, we're ready for some playoff football for sure.
Yes.
Definitely. It's going to get very, very interesting. First time the wild cards have been spread over 3 days as well, I believe, Carl. Is that right?
Yep, 3 days. So we've got 2 games tonight, 3 games on Sunday, and we've got the Monday night game between the Cardinals and the Rams, round 3 to be precise.
Indeed, it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, I'm tempted to go round the horn very, very quickly. Last week, Niners, Rams, when Coach McVay decided it would be a good idea when they went 17 zip up to celebrate in the end zone with Tyler Higbee, I believe it was. Why didn't he get flagged? And was that disrespectful, Carl? What do you think?
I think it lit a fire under the San Francisco 49ers backside. 17-0 down. That's bulletin board material. Oh, look, their head coach is going into the end zone to celebrate. Yeah, okay. All right, we'll remember this. It is a little disrespectful, if I'm honest with you. I don't think coaches, they need to stay in their sidelines, and I think that's that at the end of the day. But the 49ers, they come away with a win, with an outrageous comeback. And obviously Ambry Thomas, of all of the first interception he could possibly get in his career, it had to be the one that takes him to the playoffs. So kudos to Ambry Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was. I mean, anyone who saw me on Twitter last Sunday in the first half knew how I was. I've never felt rage like it against anybody, and it just him doing that for me made it even worse. The first half was bad enough without him doing that as well. I mean, that just obviously. I don't swear ever, so you know my language wasn't colourful. Not. Shell, what did you think of that? Do you think it was disrespectful? I mean, at the end of the day, I was then laughing at the end of the game because we beat them, and he was really upset, and he blamed the Niners fans in the stadium, and they couldn't hear the calls, and they couldn't hear it. And I just sort of kudos for them for doing that. And karma is a bitch.
No, because that just gave us momentum. I think we had it all along, but it took 2 whole quarters to get that. So for them to celebrate, I was just like, no, because we've owned them for 6 games. So I mean, I'm not like, oh, that was, you know what I'm saying? Like I look at it like, okay, go ahead and celebrate. I think what's more disrespectful is when Terrell Owens got a touchdown and celebrated on the Dallas Star. I was just like, yes, that's way more disrespectful than a coach and a referee celebrating in the end zone. So no.
Funnily enough, I've got to play that at the end because I think that's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a football field. And it just so happened he was playing for the Niners at the time.
Right.
But yeah, Terrell Owens on the Dallas Star. Yeah, it was disrespectful, but it was funny. And
it was funny, right?
Somebody, I think it was actually T.O. Someone had obviously put it out and he'd responded to the tweet. And I can't remember the guy that pushed him off the Star the second time, and he tweeted back at him, that was the only time you got close to me all game, so shut up or something like that, which I thought was quite.
It was George Teague.
Was it right? Yeah, that's it. Paul, what were your thoughts on last week?
Yeah, I mean, McVay. I think it showed how much Kyle Shanahan lives in McVay's head when he was celebrating. Like you said, every 49er fan in the UK, we were just sat with our hands over our faces last week. 17-0 down. Jimmy was playing awful. Looked like our season was over. And then the momentum built, didn't it? We managed to get the field goal just before half time. And then second half, elite Jimmy G turned up. Like coach has been saying all week and everyone else has been saying, where is that Jimmy been? And the turnaround was unbelievable. As we've said in the UK, Nick, it's the emotional roller coaster, isn't it? The 49ers do not do things easily. And as I was saying to Shell this week, jumping on Twitter and seeing the American fans going at it on the Twitter spaces has been unbelievable. And I watched Coach's show last night. I was watching the Coffee with Coach, and he was asking for fans to tweet in. And I shared a cheeky little tweet when I said, Jeff, which game are you looking forward to the most? And why is it the 49ers? So when Jeff read that out on live show, I was thinking, that's just the mood this week. We are bullish. We are confident. But we are the underdogs. The Dallas Cowboys won their division. They're higher in the seeding than we are. We own the Rams. And let's go. I'm excited for tomorrow night.
Me too.
And of course, Dallas or the stadium are absolutely crapping their pants thinking that there's going to be more Niners fans than Dallas fans. They're actually giving out white towels and everything to try and negate that.
Yeah.
I just think there's an extra, probably 40,000 pieces of toilet paper there giving out those white towels. It's ridiculous. Jeff, what did you think? Obviously, of first half Jimmy G, second half Jimmy G, and basically the whole situation last week.
Well, I think it was a huge win for the 49ers, and in coaching, you talk about winning the middle 6, and the middle 6 is the last 3 minutes of the first half and the first 3 minutes of the second half. And if you look at that, in those 6 minutes, the 49ers won 10-0, and that was enough to be the difference in the football game. The field goal at the end of the half, and then the first drive where they get the ball in the second half and they go down and score a touchdown. That's a 10-0 run that the Niners had that really not only put them back in the game, but it changed the entire complexion and momentum of the game. You know, the Rams, I thought, competed hard, particularly early in the game, because the 49ers had really they had punked them previously, physically beat them up. Right. And the Rams came out and responded for the first half. But what's different about the Rams and the 49ers, in my opinion, is that being physical and the ability to run the ball is in the 49er DNA. It's not in the DNA of the Rams. The Rams are a finesse team. They're an incredibly talented team, because you look at their defense and you've got, probably the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. You got a great rusher in Floyd. You got the best corner in the NFL in the back end. And when you've got those kinds of players, and again, they've got two great edge rushers. When you've got four elite level players on your defense and you can't stop anybody the way they couldn't stop anybody in the game, I thought Shanahan completely pencil whipped Raheem Morris in the game. It was Raheem Morris had no idea how to stop him in the second half.
Yeah, it was night and day, first and second half. And I know, obviously, Jimmy G, for some reason, it takes a first half like that for him to all of a sudden come alive. And, as I said, I was amazed that Shanahan stuck with him. But what do I know? I'm just a schmuck who sits in his garage talking NFL.
But you know what? This is interesting, because I asked Jesse that same thing, right? And Jesse had the opportunity to snap the ball to Joe Montana and Steve Young and Jeff Garcia. I mean, he's been snapped the ball to the best quarterbacks that have ever played in that organization. And I asked him point blank last night, do you think that Jimmy G is good enough? And he didn't even blink and said, yes, he completely believes he's good enough. Now, is he Joe Montana? No. Is he Steve Young? No. But with the cast that he has around him, and as they've gotten healthier on defense, he can be good enough to win a Super Bowl with. I really, truly believe that. And I think we saw it during the game, because, he made a couple throws that he'd like to have back, but he also made some really, really good throws in the game. The kind of throws that you've got to make in pressure situations. The last touchdown pass was a perfect example. And, if they can protect him and they can run the ball, he's good enough to win a Super Bowl with. I really believe that.
Well, unfortunately, if Bosa wasn't being held by Scott's Kansas City Chiefs in the first Super Bowl and Jimmy G didn't overthrow Emmanuel Sanders, it might have been a different story and we'd be sitting on 6 Super Bowls. But I don't, I'm not bitter. Freddie, much. Freddie, what did you think? Because obviously I know you were watching the Niners game. I'm surprised you stayed awake, actually, because you watched. What did you watch before that? Was you watching the Steelers, or did you watch
the Steelers Ravens, which went to overtime, then the Niners Rams, which did the same, and then the Raiders Chargers, which also went to overtime. So it was a long day on Sunday night, but I did watch this game. And like you, Nick, I know we were saying the first half how Jimmy just didn't look right at all. He was missing fairly simple throws. Just wasn't working for the Niners, and the Rams were just. Well, they were ramming them, really. I think that's the best description.
Phrasing.
But I think obviously there were some adjustments made at halftime to make life a bit easier for Jimmy. And Kyle Shanahan has finally cured the curse of the McVay leading at halftime nonsense statistic that we get rammed in our face every week. So, no, I'm very pleased that Niners won. They deserve to be in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on in Dallas this week. I don't really know what else to say. I think Deebo Samuel again has been outstanding. Probably even more important to the Niners than Cooper Kupp's being to the Rams. So if I was talking about non-quarterback MVPs, Deebo Samuel would probably be my number one. But I'd be interested to see what Jeff thinks about that. But I don't know really what else to say. I was just very impressed with the Niners in the second half, and they're very, very capable of going into Dallas and winning.
Yeah, and also I forgot to bring up today, your prediction and your name has changed, Freddie, because it was Duval last
Yes, it
week,
was.
and you actually picked Jacksonville.
I did go with the Jags,
win,
yeah.
and everybody thought you were completely crazy, but you actually, I don't know where that Jacksonville performance came from, but that was crazy. Crazy.
Well,
And everybody mocked you, my friend, just like when I picked the Lions twice and they came up in a big spot for me. But I would never have thought in a million years that Jacksonville were going to win that game. And we actually saw flashes of how good Trevor Lawrence can be if the plays that are called are correct.
Facts. Agreed.
Scott,
Absolutely.
Did you watch the game? Because I know how interested you are in the 49ers, obviously, for obvious reasons. What did you think?
Yeah, I did watch the game, and that's funny that you bring up the Super Bowl because that's what I thought was the 49ers celebrating and partying in the Super Bowl before the game was over, and that ended up being premature on their part after they intercepted Patrick Mahomes. So, look, they as far as it being disrespectful, I think the line on that delineates what's disrespectful and what is allowed, it keeps moving further and further and further out as we go on here. You look at what's allowed as far as touchdown celebrations and what players are allowed to wear and what players are allowed to say. So I don't know. Is the coach going down into the end zone disrespectful? I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, the entire team celebrating in the end zone would have been considered disrespectful. So I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it necessarily. My only problem with it is it was too soon. Like, the game's not over. There's still a lot of football to be played left. You see it too with players cornerbacks that make a big play after they've been getting burned by a guy for the whole game, and they start dancing and doing this gritty and all that. You saw it against the Chiefs. Charvarius Ward did the gritty after he stopped Jamar Chase, who had already had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then got burned 3 plays later. So I think teams and players celebrate too soon. I think they celebrate things overly or exaggerate celebrations for plays that used to be considered, just a routine play. So, no, I didn't have a problem with it. What I thought was disrespectful was Coach McVay at the end of that game disrespecting the game of football with that cowardly 3-and-out run punt to give the 49ers the ball back with a chance to go down and tie. This guy is one of these young guns and one of these analytics and one of these guys that takes chances and is rewriting the what it is and what coaches do. And then you get a chance to put the game away and you run the ball 3 times in a row for nothing and then punt it away. I was just my mind was blown when I was watching that. And I said it out loud to myself. I said they just gave the game away. I think I even tweeted it out. I said the Rams deserve to lose this game after that cowardly 3-and-out where they just ran the ball 3 times to try to make the 49ers use their timeouts and punt it away. There was still a minute something left. It doesn't matter if they don't have any timeouts. Teams, you see it all the time. They can move the ball down the field in the 2-minute drill and the no huddle in no time. 30 seconds is enough, even with 1 or no timeouts. So it was a very entertaining game. 49ers pulled it out. Jimmy, in the end, was the hero, and now they get to go on and play Dallas. Like you said, that's as much of an old-school playoff matchup, playoff game as you can get. I mean, when I remember being a kid watching Aikman and Young and Montana and those 49ers games, and you know, NFC championships and divisional round games. So yeah, it should be entertaining, for sure.
And it's also as well how TV has changed over the years. You watch some of those old games and the graphics are awful, and you know, just no play clock,
Right.
no like lines on the, you know, the first down, all that, and you look at it and it was a golden age back then. But I think technology and everything now, we do so much better for it. I mean, even the telestrator thing, Jeff, that you have on Sky. Can you imagine having something like that 25 years ago to be able to do what you do? Because you'd have to have like a magic wand or something to point at the screen. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I do like, obviously, the thing that it's all advanced. But when you look at it old school, it's just a whole different game now. Playing, TV presentation. I think a lot of the commentary teams are a lot better now. Although I was watching, what game was I watching? I can't remember. I was flicking through the first 6 o'clock games last week, and there was two commentary teams, both Fox, sounded exactly the same, and all getting all excited. And I'm thinking, that can't be like the same person in two different places commentating, because that's what it sounded like. What was the mood like in the Sky studio for the games that you were watching? Obviously, when you're off camera, especially with the Niners, Jeff, and they were 17 zip down, was it? That's it. They're going to go on and get blown out, or was there always some hope that something might happen?
No, you know what? Really, when we were sitting watching the game, and Ryan and Sean and I were, you know, we sit at a little now, because this everything's changed. You know, it used to be we sat on the sofa. Now you stand up and go through the break. But so we're sitting over in basically what is the green room, and we're watching the game, and there was kind of a universal belief or feeling amongst us when the 49ers got that field goal at the end of the half, that the momentum in the game had changed. And, you know, I think everybody was impressed with the way the Rams came out and played early, but the 49ers didn't, you know, they didn't blink. I mean, they were behind. They could have, you know, you're down 17 on the road at an arch rival's place. And I don't know who was talking about it, but somebody was talking about, you know, the faithful that were in the building, and it sounded like the game was being played in you know, up in Northern California. It was amazing how, and you know, the Niner fans don't have that reputation as being, you know, like crazy like the Raider fans or, you know, Steeler fans. But I'm gonna tell you something: the noise coming through the television was incredible by the faithful, and I think that helped their defense in particular late in the game when the Rams were trying to scramble to get back in the game.
It's really funny because, and I love how people, especially after the game last week, were all over Wikipedia and doing edits, and you had SoFi Stadium got edited and it says owners San Francisco 49ers. You had there was so many and owned by Debo. I saw put on a couple of them, and it is funny because, and I don't know what it is, but as I can't remember who said it, Shanahan does seem to have McVay's number, and even I was doubting him, and it was crazy. But anyway, we can't, as much as I'd love to speak about the 49ers for the whole 3 hours, I can't do that. Jeff, you've seen the All Pro listings come out. Any surprises for you in that?
Well, yeah, there were some surprises. I'm not a big Pro Bowl guy because of the way it's voted on. But, you know, I was really surprised Justin Simmons from the Broncos didn't make the list. And you look at the guys. See, I'm not about hype. I'm about production. And so when you consider just the elements of pure production, I don't know how you don't vote for T.J. Watt or Cooper Kupp or any of these guys that have had incredibly productive years. And I know they're not guys that, quote, the media likes because they don't do the gritty after they, make a play, or they don't, it's not all about them, or, I just think that, when you look at it, every game this year, and what TJ Watt did is incredible to me. He did it in 14 games. He tied Strahan's record in 14 games. I mean, that is incredible production. And he sees chips. He sees the tight end over him. He sees the protection slid to him. I mean, everybody has done everything every week to try and take him away, and he just keeps coming. And I don't know if I can remember a edge guy having that kind of a dominant production year. And then the same thing's true with Cooper Kupp, because I'm going to telestrate it for the television for the games this week. The Niners did a tremendous job of trying to create help for him all the time, but he's kind of a perfect blend of really good play design and a really good player who understands how to use the play design to his advantage. And he's not a guy that's going to, like I said, he's not going to say it's all about him. Matter of fact, it was interesting when he was set to break the record, he was the one that said, well, it's not really a record because I had an extra game to do it in. And, again, that's so refreshing in today's NFL, where it's all about building your brand, and it's all about me, and, I did this and I did that. And, so I thought those two guys are guys that I would seriously give consideration to. I can't say most valuable player, because who's to say what's the most valuable player, but the most outstanding player, I think you'd have to look at those guys really hard. I think Aaron Rodgers had a great season. It's usually Pro Bowl voting to me is based upon what you've done in the past, not what you're doing right now. And, you saw some of that. And that's why I think a guy like Justin Simmons, who's not at a, quote, big market place, ended up being left off the list.
The other thing as well about that sack record, he didn't have Aaron Rodgers lay down for him and he earned them the hard way. I mean, you could say the same about Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa obviously won't be in the reckoning for comeback player of the year, because obviously people forget he was injured last year, etc. But yeah, respect definitely has got to be put on TJ Watt. I think he's had a phenomenal season, and as you say, only 14 games. That to me is more impressive than Strahan, who had the full 17, right? So yeah, I mean, there are some weird ones on there. Like Trent Williams got in, and he was the highest graded player on PFF, if you go by PFF and all that sort of thing. And there was only 5 people, I think, or 4 or 5 out of the people that voted. But most of the time, it just seems like it's a popularity contest to me.
Nick, let me tell you what Coach Vermeil said to the Chiefs when 2001 we were in training camp, and he would read he had basically it wasn't a book, but it was like a series of memos or letters that he basically wrote to the team during the off season, and he would read those every night to the team as part of his part of the team meeting. And one of them talked about the difference between, how we care about team wins far more than we care about personal accolades, right? And he used a perfect example, because he said the Pro Bowl generates, I don't know how much, I can't remember the exact stats, but I'm just going to speak in numbers, 10 million viewers, while the Super Bowl has 150 million viewers. So that'll tell you what's important. Is it personal success or is it team success? And he had a great way of saying it. And he always said to the team success is a prerequisite of personal success. And when teams get that mindset, that's when you have a chance to be really, really successful. And when you watch most of the teams that are in the playoffs right now, those are teams that get that. You know, the teams that have great, I mean, Cleveland's got as good a talent as anybody in the league, and they're not in the tournament, you know, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But part of it is, you know, when it's all about me and it's all about, you know, us, like the offense or the defense or, you know, the running game or the, you know, when it becomes fragmented like that and it's not about the total team, then it's hard to win in the National Football League because everybody's got good players.
And I'd argue off that's a big basis as to why the Steelers are actually in the playoffs, is that there is a real team element here that I've not seen in the Steelers for a long time, where the guys are playing for each other. And when we had that final home night game for when we all knew that Ben was retiring, I've not seen the Steelers that galvanized in a long time, probably since our previous Super Bowl. So even though we're not the most talented, we're clearly not. I wouldn't think we're that as good a team roster wise as, say, the Colts or the Ravens or the Dolphins or the Browns or the 4 or 5 teams in the AFC has not made the playoffs. Because we've got that team element, we've managed to make the playoffs. So I agree entirely.
Fellas, I got to leave. Nick, thank you so much. It's great. I got to run, but it's great to be on with you guys. It's good to see everybody. Hopefully we'll get a chance to continue to do this.
I hope I get a chance to play your Raiders, Coach. In the
oh,
playoffs.
baby.
Go take care of business, man.
I'm going to put my Raider hat on, and I'm going to say, be careful what you wish for now.
All right, man. All right.
Jeff, always a pleasure. Have a good show
guys.
tomorrow, and we'll catch up with you again very, very soon, Jeff. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Aloha. Thank you.
My man, Jeff. Always good to have him on. See, Carl, you have to work that out. How much you spent for your nice jersey and your thing, and how much it cost you for 41 minutes of Jeff Reinbold, and work it out pro rata. Was it worth it? I can't help it. But I do like your background, by the way, because that's what it's going to be like tomorrow.
You're a Patriots fan with that as your background. I mean, come on.
Oh, if you give me the opportunity to dunk on the Cowboys, I will dunk on the Cowboys. So there we go.
No, they deserve to be dunked on. Carl, I want to touch on your game very, very quickly before we do the picks and everything and go through it all. Have you seen your injury list?
Yeah, this is Bill. Yeah, this is Bill Belichick manipulating the injury report. We've got 13 players that are questionable, but probably 2/3 of them are not really injured. This is just Bill Belichick playing mind games as he always does.
Brady with his glove.
Brady with the hand, yeah, we all know that. Period. But there are some injuries to look out for. We don't have left tackle Isaiah Witt. We don't have. We're not playing the Bengals, Scott. Come on. We don't have Isaiah Wynn at left tackle. He's out injured. That's a huge loss for us. Not really for passing, but in the running games, he's one of the best run blockers at left tackle in the NFL. Passing game, he's okay, not great. So the option we've got now is to move Trent Brown to left tackle and put Mike Onwenu at right tackle and use Justin Herron as the swing tackle. Kyle Duggar is fit to go, which is great because we can use him as a hybrid linebacker and a box-to-box safety. But the problem that we have most of all is the fact the last 4 games we haven't been very good. We've been appalling, losing to the Colts, losing to the Bills, and then obviously last week losing to the Dolphins. All those games have one thing in very big common, and that is the fact we are putting ourselves in a hole before we can even get ourselves out of it. We're down by two to 3 scores by the time we eventually get going. So we have to start fast in this game. I also believe as well, defensively, we haven't been that good either after the bye week. We haven't been sacking the quarterback as much. No, barely any pressured. And we've been letting too many touchdowns in off our secondary. There has to be mass improvements across the board. So I think as far as what we're concerned with injury-wise is we don't care about injuries. We don't even care about the weather. Apparently it's going to be 0 degrees in Buffalo, which over here in the UK, it'll be minus 17. As someone who used to work in a warehouse maneuvering freezer goods at minus 20 degrees, I can tell you it is not pleasant whatsoever. It's going to be so brutal. But Mac Jones has already said that he doesn't like the cold, and Josh Allen is already making excuses that he gets bad circulation in your feet.
Ain't nobody
Take this game,
Right.
take those comments with a pinch of salt. You're playing in the NFL, man up.
Facts.
Exactly. Get your hand warmers out. Put your thermal socks on. Shut that up and get out there and play.
Right.
But did you actually hear what? I don't know if anybody saw on ESPN Get Up, but what did Bart Scott say the best advice for Josh Allen to take was to combat the cold? Apparently, it was taking Viagra. I know the game is won by inches, but come on. I mean,
ain't nobody got time for that either.
Now that I'll give you that one, Carl. For you, that is a good joke. It is a game of inches, but that's another story. Anything else that you want to bring up from last week's game? For me, I just wanted to touch quickly on Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, they take him out, bring the backup in, and he stunk. And I know everyone thinks that their season won't be a disaster because their QB's not going to get injured and it's not going to be any issues. And then you look at the people behind some of these. Obviously, Trey Lance is the backup. Don't have a problem there. Some teams, though, think that they are infallible and they have to play there. I mean, you've only got to look at the Sea Chickens. Oh dear, what a shame! How their season went completely wrong, which, as everyone knows, is hilarious, especially to me, because Russie wasn't out there cooking, and even when he did come back, he couldn't even fry an egg. Let's be honest. And then, so yeah, my thing would be if Aaron Rodgers moves on, who knows, I don't think he will, but if he did, I think Green Bay are going to have a few issues because you can't mask what's gone on. And I think, Freddie, your Steelers, if Ben, I still haven't seen he's officially retired, and the QB class isn't brilliant next year or this year, whichever way you want to look at it. So I would, I mean, I would be worried. A lot of teams, I mean, I don't know, probably half the teams could do with a decent backup. So yeah, that worried me. If Rodgers goes down in this game that they're playing, it's not looking too good.
If there's two teams that need to win a Super Bowl more this year than ever, it's Green Bay and it's the LA Rams. Because if Aaron Rodgers is last year, Green Bay will take a step back. The Rams have mortgaged their future for probably the next 2 years. They've got superstar talent there, and Los Angeles is a state that they want all the caviar, they want the champagne, they want to see it all, they want to win everything. Los Angeles does not give a shit about mediocre franchises. If the Rams don't win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, it will cause massive effect financially and on the franchise alone.
That's a fact.
Well, I've got news for you, Rams fans. You ain't winning shit in 2 years, I'm afraid.
They're not.
Well, I mean, if you draft all these people and you still can't beat other teams, that says a lot about your franchise. So, It is
Too
what
many
it
cooks
is.
spoil the broth. There's far too many egos in that team for them to win anything.
Too many Chiefs. Literally. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of mediocre franchises, hey guys, we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I bet you never thought you would thank Jacksonville, because that's the only reason you
of all the
basically got
teams
there.
that have given us a massive favor, it was the Jags.
And the Raiders, right? Wow.
That Sunday night
that
game, I was
game
watching
tied,
it
you guys
thinking,
were out.
I was watching that game thinking, I'm not stressed. 15-point game, it's fine. The Raiders have got it. Back came the Chargers. Overtime happened, and I was sitting there going, it's a fix.
every Yinzer Lamb was getting post-traumatic stress disorder watching that game. It was carnage. All the Chargers had to do was make sure the Raiders just run it all the way and they can get the tie, and that would have been it. And Brandon Staley shat his pants, took a timeout because they thought they can make a change of it, and it changed the mindset of Derek Carr and Rich Bisaccia, because they both said we're just going to play to run the clock out. Justin Herbert said, I couldn't wish for a draw any more than now, a tie any more than now.
Yeah.
So it was the writing was on the wall for the Steelers that they were not going to make the playoffs. And yet something as unfortunate as that event has put the Steelers in, and then put the Raiders in. And the Chargers once again are out of the playoff race because they keep tripping up over themselves. There is a saying, you can take the Chargers out of San Diego, you can't take the San Diego out of the Chargers.
I have to say, Freddie, I don't know how we are not grey. Sorry, Scott. I know we went through it
I'm
as
losing the hair. It
49ers
doesn't need to
fans,
go grey.
but I didn't stay up for the Raiders game. I thought, I'm going to bed. And when I woke up the next morning, I thought, you must have aged so much in that game. I couldn't resist but jump on Twitter. And then I saw your tweets as well, Scott, about last weekend. And that's what the coach was saying, Nick, about the NFL community. Look at how it's grown in the UK. I mean, I've been on your show a couple of times now and started following Scott and seeing his perspective about the Chiefs, seeing Carl's perspective about the Patriots, seeing Freddie. I mean, last week's show, you came on, Freddie, and you rocked it for the Jags. And I sat at home watching the 6 o'clock games, and I was like, the Jags are absolutely dominating this. And I thought, Freddie's going to have it.
I just feel like if anybody had to get to the Super Bowl and win it and ride out into the sunset, if Ben is going to do it, I would say Ben to be dead ass. I mean, I can't even, I love my team, but at the end of the day, we know what kind of miscues we have. So, I mean, this is not, it's not about talking shit and all that stuff. I can do that anytime. But at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it'd be nice for us, but whatever. We're in. Whatever happens tomorrow.
We've obviously attracted some weirdo today. I'm just going to put this comment up there, Carl, and I'll let you read it because it is quite funny.
Funny, it is borderline, it is downright disrespectful. Fake NFL is rigged. There's a 2013 YouTube video called Ultimate Reception by a Vikings player. That video shows magnetic ball and gloves. That's how they catch these physics-defying catches. Okay then, buddy. You go outside, you get a football, you ask your mate to throw it at you, you see if it's magnetic or not, you useless cunt.
To be fair, he's got a point about it being rigged because the Chiefs 49ers. I'm joking, Scott. I'm joking.
No. He ain't biting, Paul. He ain't biting. It's a fact. It's a fact.
I want to go back real quick to this idea that the Chargers coach calling the timeout changed the Raiders. They can say whatever they want. You had an interim coach that is trying to get the head coaching job. Every win that he can get, especially against a division opponent, is going to help him keep his job. You knock the Chargers out, that's a team that you don't want to have to play again necessarily, especially if you're the Raiders. It improves your seed dramatically to win that game. I'm not buying that the Chargers calling that timeout changed the Raiders' decision from going for the tie to going for the win. I don't believe that. I don't.
I agree.
I really don't.
Because if it went for the tie, they'd have been the 7th seed and gone to Kansas City. instead
Exactly.
of a 5 seed, and they're going to Cincinnati, a team who haven't won
Exactly.
a playoff thing for 30 years. So,
Now, did calling the timeout help the Raiders maybe, regroup and get a better play call in?
what's the background?
I don't know. Someone's got some AC/DC playing or something.
I'm going to thunderstruck, yeah.
Yeah, it's not me. Not me. Definitely not me.
I think it's Carl.
Is that Carl?
Probably.
Yep, it was
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah, it was stopped.
So
The thing is, though, Freddie, Scott, you said it as well. Like, I have a buddy who's a Rams fan, and when the Rams got that last series, he texted me at midnight and he said, McVay's going to bloody run this ball and give you guys the ball back. And why are we doing that? If we can knock a divisional rival out, you take that opportunity. And like you said, we got the ball back and we marched down the other end of the field and we won. And like you said there, Scott, I think you're right with the Raiders. It did seem a little sus to me that they're going on about this timeout, because I watched it back the next day. So I took the emotion out of it and just watched the game. And I thought, to be fair, it was a bit of a harsh way for the Chargers to lose. But Freddie, please tell me you were running around your bedroom, front room, at whatever time in the morning it was celebrating that.
To be fairly quiet at 5 o'clock in the morning, but due to other people in the house. But yeah, I was quite excited when the Raiders decided to go for it rather than take a knee. And because if they'd taken a knee at a tie, the abuse I'd have got from Nick and from all the other guys would have been endless. So I was quite glad that we.
I don't know what I do not know what you're talking about, Freddie. You have the wrong idea of me.
Do I?
So how quickly did you send Scott a tweet when the game finished? How quickly did you work out you were playing the Chiefs, and did you?
I think it was the next. I must have gone to sleep straight afterwards and then replied to Scott the next morning.
yeah, no, I saw when the Jags won. I think I sent Freddie a GIF or something on Twitter of the kid. He's like raising his eyebrows. He's like, "All right, here we go." Like, because I didn't think there was any way in hell that game would end in a tie. What are the odds of that? So at that point, you kind of knew that it was going to be the Steelers. We're going to make it. So, but yeah, I really don't believe that the Raiders were going to take a knee until the Chargers called that timeout. That would not make sense in at least 4 or 5 different ways for them to do that. But yeah, talk about exciting into the regular season. I mean, going to 17 games, having week 18, that decision by the NFL couldn't have paid off any better for them. I mean, you were literally down to the last seconds of the last game of overtime to decide the playoff picture in the AFC. And that just the NFL. Other than officiating, they can't do anything wrong. It doesn't seem like.
The money machine keeps rolling. That's for sure. Right, let's pick some wild card games. Always enjoy this part, especially if Freddie lone wolfs on the Steelers, which he possibly will do. Raiders versus the Bengals.
Oh.
This could be a very interesting game, or it could be very one-sided and over very, very quickly. Carl, what's your thoughts? Who are you picking?
Taking the Bengals to win this game. I just think Joe Burrow is the better quarterback than Derek Carr. The connection that he has got with Jamar Chase is simply unprecedented. I mean, Scott will bear witness to the fact what Jamar Chase did to the Chiefs corners, just blew them apart. The Raiders I give them credit where credit is due. They actually managed to get in. Okay. With all the turmoil that they have suffered this year regarding of Henry Ruggs' DUI and obviously the death and that sort of thing, regarding of John Gruden and the emails that was actually in a different situation or it predicated to be. Interim head coach, and Freddie brought this up with me on our show back on Thursday, and it was the first time an interim head coach has taken a team to the playoffs in NFL history. Most interim head coaches would have just given up the ghost and said it's a lost cause, it's a lost season. But Bisaccio actually rallied the troops, rallied the players, and they actually produced to the back end of the season when we always know in December is when the Raiders fall off a cliff. and they actually managed to do that. If there's one reason where the Raiders could possibly win this game, it is with their pass rush. Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue. Now, the Bengals' offensive line is better than what it was last year, but they still have given up over 50 sacks. But Joe Burrow has been able to last the plays longer and keep them going. But I think the Bengals just got a little bit too much talent on defense and in their offense as well. I'm taking Cincinnati to win. The only bit I'll say is this. If the Bengals are up by one score and only one score when the fourth quarter arrives, the Raiders are 6-0 when they are trailing by one score. This is a tough game, but I'm taking Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The other thing you've got to factor in, and I know it's a different regime and everything now, is the Bengals normally bungle it first game of the playoffs. I don't think they've been any further for a long, long time. And they are 1-8 all time in the wild card round.
Yeah. 1991 was the last time the Bengals won a playoff game.
That being
But
said,
then-
the Raiders haven't won a wild card game in a long time either. It's about 20, nearly 20 years.
I was going to say it's probably because they haven't been there for that long, but that's another story. Red Jet, who have you got in this one? Bengals or Raiders?
Okay, I'm probably going to run with it, but because of what Carl just said, I do agree. However, the Raiders do get hot when they get hot. They do have Waller. They do have Renfro. They have a lot of people on their offense. I am lone wolfing the Raiders. Yeah, I'm going for the silver and black. I lived in Oakland for 10 years, so I know they're in Vegas now, but I'm going to lone wolf. It is what it is. We'll see
You
what
never
happens.
know. Paul,
Yeah.
Bengals, Raiders.
I'm basing this purely because I think Burrow and Chase are better. I could see it going either way. I kind of would like to see the Raiders win because do they play Scott's Chiefs next if the Chiefs beat the Steelers? Is that what Coach was saying? So that would be a beauty matchup. But I'm sorry, Red Jet Shell. I can't step in and save you, lone wolfen. I'm going for the Bengals.
Womp womp. No. Sorry.
Can I actually say, when we get to this stage of the season, I am actually going to pick with my head, not my heart.
Oh, hallelujah.
But I haven't picked
Ain't
yet.
nobody got time for that.
So I am going to pick with my head, not my heart, when it comes to these games, just so I can be transparent. And Mahomie to go, I did like your comment. The Bengals haven't won since the internet was a thing. That's very true.
That's very true.
Freddie, who have you got?
Well, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going heart over head this time round because I've done my head over heart on Carl's show. If you want to see what I really think, you can go on there. But I'm going with the Raiders because I can't stand the Bengals. And I know Mr. Smug will do exactly the opposite. But I'm going with the Raiders. They know how to close out games. They've done it quite a bit this season. The Bengals, again, it's new territory for them. But Joe Burrow has been in these big games before, as has Jamar Chase, as we've seen in the national championship for LSU. So they're not going to be worried about pressure. I don't like their coach much, I've got to say. I'm still not sold on Zach Taylor. How they managed to beat the Chiefs with play calling he did at the end of the game, I will never know. But they did, and they're there. I really do like the Bengals, but as Carl says, their offensive line's not brilliant. Their defense is not great either. Trey Hendrickson's the only one really making any pressure. There's still some holes in that defense, and teams can score points on them. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Screw the other AFC North teams. Come on, Raiders.
If that's ever put the kiss of
AFC
death
West, you
on
mean.
the Raiders, that's it. Freddie's mark of approval. Just before I come to you, Scott, and I know which way you're going to go. If this is your first time on this show watching, please hit that like and subscribe button. It does help us get noticed. And thank you, everyone, so far for your comments. Keep them coming in. Scott, Bengals, Raiders.
You have to ask.
Yeah, no, look, man, the Raiders are.
Take a minute.
He
I
tried
just
to
don't-
say a word that's not a slur, but okay,
I
carry on.
just did not see them as a playoff team all year.
Same.
they have some bad losses,
Mm.
and they are the one thing I will say, and Shell brought this up, and Carl talked about the offensive line for the Bengals. I don't know, is Joe Burrow hurt? Because look, he was limping around at the end of that Chiefs game.
That's true.
And he didn't play last week. They had something to play for last week. They could have improved their seed with a win. So it wasn't like they had the 1 seed locked up in a bye week and they were resting their starters. If he's injured, if his mobility, his escapability is impacted at all, and the Raiders' defensive line in that pass rush, and Max Crosby and Ngakoue or whatever, if they can get to Burrow, they can make a game of it. So I don't think this is as much of a slam dunk as maybe a lot of people do, maybe even myself included. You saw the Bengals took care of the Raiders easily in Las Vegas earlier in the year.
Right.
You're going to have to edit this part out because I would love for the Raiders to win and to get a chance to play the Raiders in the playoffs. But,
yeah, we got to make that a clip.
I'm downloading that. I'm downloading that later on. I'm downloading that later on.
I know it's going to happen. Someone's going to cut that, and it's going to be like, I love the Raiders. I know exactly what you're going to do. So, but look, I just don't see it. I think the Bengals are going to win fairly handily.
Carl, it was round about 1 hour and 4:30. If you need to go back and clip that.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. It's
make a clip of it. Scott. Now, I did say I was going to pick with my head and be objective, but I can't. And I will tell your burner account sums it up. Trash. The Raiders are trash. Just say it, Scott.
Agreed.
I'm never picking the fucking Raiders. Get those out. I'm never picking the Raiders.
That unbiased lasted.
Well, hey, this is one of those situations where your heart and your head are the same thing. So you're good.
Well, that's actually very true, and I can't hide my distaste for the team that used to be in the Bay. I can't.
And I think
as I've said many times, that is a lovely stadium. And the only thing in their trophy case after this year is still going to be cobwebs because they are going out to the Bengals.
And I just think it's hilarious that the Raiders made the playoffs and the Chargers and knew Mahomes didn't. God, that's just.
Well, and I just quickly, I think it was Carl said about the interim head coach. I think that's had a lot to do with what has happened to the Raiders. I can't stand the owner. I couldn't stand Gruden. And I think him going did breathe some life into this team. Because, again, I don't think that Gruden and Carr were on the same page. As much as they buttered it up and, I've moved next door to him and this, that, and the other, I think that was just all bullshit. But who knows? But, yeah, for me, I'm going with the Bengals, not to bungle it. But I bet you I'll wake up tomorrow morning and see that the Bengals have laid an egg.
I've bungled it.
Bungled it. Right. Next one. Your Patriots, Carl, versus the Buffalo Bills. Teams meeting in the playoffs for the first time in the Super Bowl era. Now, even you wouldn't pick against yourself.
No, I'm not going to go against my team, against our hated rivals and the Bills. As I said at the start of this stream.
You nearly did on Thursday.
Yeah, nearly did on Thursday. And
yes,
I was on the cusp of it, and then I realised I would have to burn every jersey I own if I chose the Bills over the Patriots in the wildcard game. It's as simple as. It's going to be so difficult for us because we're not. The last 4 games we haven't played that good, excluding the game against Jacksonville. We haven't played good at all. We need to go back to the conservative play of running the ball and playing and making plays on defense and letting Mac Jones do the bare minimum, because that's probably our only key to this game. I also think as well, Matt Judon, despite the fact him having career high sacks for this season, he's a liability when it comes to setting the edge and trying to stop the run. He can't. The Bills' offense is Josh Allen in the passing game, Josh Allen in the running game, and more Josh Allen. That they are more one-dimensional than a Dickens novel. But I am not going against my team.
They're what?
They are more one-dimensional than a Dickens novel.
I love it.
Gotcha.
God knows where that analogy came from. I bet you've been thinking about that one all week, Carl, haven't you?
I'm dead.
More one-dimensional than a Dickens novel.
Damn.
Wow.
I love that. Wow.
And that's why people come to the Shank Club.
I'm saying.
To be educated. Exactly.
Be prepared, be afraid, be very afraid.
Exactly. Shell, who have you got?
So many choices, so little time. You only have one. I give a slight edge to the Patriots, but I'm gonna go with the Bills. They've always kind of had the Patriots number, even before, we had that other dude, number 12. Anyway, but yeah, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I love that.
I say the Bills are we're 25, and so we're 6 and 25 against Tom Brady at the time.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it wasn't really a rivalry.
Yeah,
But, I digress.
Right. Exactly. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bills. Sorry, but I you know what? Any given game, anything could happen. So
Any given Saturday, and that doesn't happen very often.
Right. Thanks.
Paul, who are you going with?
Sorry, Carl, buddy. I would love the Patriots to win for yourself, obviously, being a fan, but I am a huge Josh Allen fan. I think Diggs has been pretty awesome since he's gone over there.
Yeah.
Like you said, Mac Jones, as 49er fans, we've heard a lot about Mac Jones. We've heard all the tweets. We've seen all the stuff. I do think the Bills are going to edge it this week, I'm afraid. Carl, sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
Freddie?
I'm just following my football team getting absolutely hammered today. I don't think we've had a shot yet. It's been pretty pathetic. On another note, I've gone with the Patriots on this one. I think the weather's going to have a big impact. And what does Belichick do in?
I'm gonna kill Chris. I'm gonna kill him.
And
Hey, that's how you're not wrong.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna kill him,
but not right either. Could be wrong.
No, you get to say you're right.
But I back to the Patriots. So I think they're going to win. I think the run game's going to dominate. But the Bills can run the ball as well. They're more than capable of doing it, even though mostly through Josh Allen. Devin Singletary has improved in recent weeks, so they've actually got a bit of a run game now.
Excellent.
And I think with the weather being as cold as it is, it's going to be more of a running game than a passing one. But I think the Bill Belichick's experience in the playoffs is something that I'm not going to overlook in this sort of game. He's going to have a game plan to keep the Bills fans quiet. The Steelers went to Buffalo and won, so it can't be that difficult. So I'm going with the Patriots to win.
Oh,
Christ, if Big Ben went in there, did the other team have COVID or something? Did they not turn up? Crazy. Scott.
I really don't know what to think of this game, like who to pick. The Bill Belichick dominance over, and I know that was with Tom Brady, but still, the Bills they're not battle tested in any sense of the word. Any of their players, their coach, they don't have the experience. They don't. I think the weather can play a big factor into this. We saw what happened where the Patriots beat them a few weeks ago with not even, I think, throwing 2 passes maybe or whatever it was. But the Patriots have just been, like Carl said, have been trending the wrong way for more than a week or two now. It's been 3 or 4 or 5 weeks that they've been losing and losing to teams maybe that shouldn't even lose to, not even playoff team. Hell, the Dolphins, they're not even in the playoffs. So to me, it is so tough to pick. I think what it boils down to me is it's going to be Bill Belichick versus Josh Allen and the Bills coaching, and I'm always going to lean to the hoodie when it comes to that. So I give a slight edge. I'm going to pick the Patriots, but I think I've been wrong on both games so far this year. I think I picked the Bills when the Patriots won, and I picked the Patriots
that's it.
when
We're
the Bills
losing.
won.
That's it. We're losing. Thank you, Scott. We're fucking losing now.
Yeah, throw the flag on me, Carl.
Fucking
But
unsportsmanlike conduct. There you go.
I do think the Patriots win the game. I do.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going with the Patriots purely based on the hooded genius. As much as I hate him, I just think that his experience and everything will shine through. We've actually got Ryan who's joined us. Sorry, Ryan, I don't know how long you were down there. Bad host. I wasn't looking to see if anyone else had joined. Ryan, how are you?
Yes, sir. Hey, doing, Nick? Hi, Carl. Hi, Scott. Hi, Freddie. Hi, Paul. I don't know your name, lady. I don't know your name is. So, hi. What's your name?
Red Jet Shell.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So, yeah. Yes, Nick. I was on my way home. I was actually listening to you guys in my ears, so I didn't want to pop on because I know which hall was talking, so I didn't want to, interrupt. So.
Well, we've obviously had the first game, Raiders Bengals. Who have you got in that one?
Bengals.
Okay. Now, is Christina in the background? Because obviously you've now got to pick.
That's why I just said I just took her to work. She's at work right now.
Oh, you're lucky. No, who knows? She may be listening. Carl, get ready in case she isn't, and he picks the wrong team. Don't forget to click this as well. Patriots, Bills. Who are you going with, Ryan?
Do I have to pick? Oh God. Well, I want to go. God, you got me on the spot there. I know you're gonna do this to me. I knew you would. But if the Bills defense plays good, they will get Mac Jones. But I don't know. I mean, just for the hell of it, I know she'll be going for my team, so I'll go for the Patriots. In my heart, yes, I know you want me to go for the Bills, but yeah, I'll go for the Patriots.
I would never put words in your mouth.
Yeah, okay.
Ever about you picking against your wife's team. And I still remember the last time you did that, and I'm still surprised you're upright and breathing because I thought she might want to kill you after that. As I said, I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think the hooded genius will somehow pull it out of the hat. Even though the roster's on paper, you probably have to edge it with the Bills. Obviously, they've got the dual threat quarterback. But that's going to be a good game. It is going to be a good game. Eagles versus the Bucks.
Ooh.
Now, the Eagles last week were awful, and I know they were playing their second string.
Oh, dear.
Scott, I've told you before, if you need to go and use the bathroom, you don't need to make stupid, hysterical owl, eagle, bloody, whatever it was you were doing. Carl,
Eagles.
Eagles, Bucks.
This is probably, if it wasn't for the Chiefs and the Steelers game, this is probably one of the lopsided games of the weekend because I don't think no one's really given the Eagles a chance to win. But they do have a pretty stout running game, and Jalen Hurts has been a defining factor in that as well. He's rushed for over 700 yards and 10 touchdowns, I think, in this season, which is pretty good. But he is going up against one of the most stout run defenses in the NFL and the Buccaneers. But even so, that Bucs defense is not what it was last year. The secondary is weaker. They've got so many injuries, and now with the likes of Chris Godwin is out for the rest of the season, and Antonio Brown being the absolute cunt nugget that he is, he's also out as well. You know, they're also a little bit depleted on the offense as well. So the -8.5 is the points for the Bucks. I would not cover that at all, but I'm still going to take the Buccaneers to win. Die Eagles, die.
Red Jet.
I don't want to. Oh, pass. Oh, fucking want to pick this shit. Okay, to be in all honesty, I do want. It would be lovely to see the Eagles pull off an upset. It would be great. Fly Eagles, fly. Back to the cage. Go TB12. Oh, God, I can't.
That really hurt as well, didn't it? I can tell that really hurt. Paul.
I think every Green Bay Packer fan watching wants the Eagles to win. I think the Buccaneers are going to win. Unfortunately, I can't see anything else. So keep it short and sweet.
Freddie?
Yeah, I agree. The problem with the Eagles is, and I've said this on Carl's show, I'm promoting Carl's show a lot tonight. Today,
please stop doing that. Please stop doing that. Wait till the end, yeah?
Don't watch that rubbish. It's a load of nonsense. It's got me on it, which is brilliant, but don't watch him. But anyway, back to this game. All the Eagles could do is run the ball, and when you're playing against the Buccaneers, who can stop the run of the ball, you're not going to get very far. The Buccaneers will walk this one. I don't even think it's going to be even closer than people expect. I think this is just going to be a full-on destruction job.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I just also say, and Scott will atone to this because Scott and I were in the chat of Carl's show the other day, and the motherfucker was ignoring us, wasn't he, Scott? And we were being objective. We weren't being rude, but he wasn't reading our comments. That's not the way to gain more followers, my friend.
When you're recording it for YouTube and you're recording a podcast as well, it's a little bit difficult to be sidetracked. I only put comments up which I know which are relevant.
So both mine and Scott's comments were really very relevant. So
Wow. That
Scott,
were irrelevant, Nick. Damn.
Scott, exactly. But just remember this, Scott. Next time he is on live and you and I are around, we're just going to spam it. Just completely spam it. Spam him, spam his channel, and then he'll have to read out the comments to shut us up. Anyway, back to normality. Scott, Eagles, Bucks, going Eagles, I'm guessing?
Man, dude, I want to pick the Eagles. I don't know why. I just
Go on, Scott.
You can do it.
Man, the Buccaneers have lost Antonio Brown. They've lost Chris Godwin. They got shut out by the Saints a little while ago. The Eagles are a kind of a sneaky team too, man. Like with Jalen Hurts, he can run the ball. I think they've got some weapons. I want to say the receiver, what's his name, Smith, to the Eagles. He's not a slouch. But, man, when I get ready to say it in my head, like Eagles, I was just like, no, what are you doing? Like, you can't pick the Eagles in this game. But what the hell? I'm gonna pick the Eagles. I think that's the upset.
Wow.
I think that's the one upset.
He just wants to use his high ceiling. That's all.
Well, there's still two people to pick, so those high ceilings, he may have to wait. Who knows? Ryan.
We know Ryan's not picking the Eagles.
No.
Scott knows me so well. I'm not going for Smeagol, so yeah, I'm going for Tom Brady. Yeah.
Now, my vote. Now, you see, if it was Freddie who was going to have to lone wolf, everyone wants to hear a Freddie lone wolf because it's so pathetic. But it's not. And I am going with Scott. I am going to pick the Eagles to win this purely because I don't want the same crap that everyone had to go through when Mr. Tom Brady won another ring and how wonderful he is and all that bullshit. I'm sick of it. So
the head's ruling the heart really well here.
Eagles to shock the Bucks.
You said you would be more transparent. You said you would go over your head. Get out of your get out of your feelings. Come on.
I love the accent. I'm
Boston
just in love
Scott,
with it right now.
Jalen Hurts, and that's all I know, and that's enough.
Miles Sanders, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jason Kelsey.
I'm not worried
Come
about
on.
any of that. All I want is Brady's ass sat on his couch next Saturday, whenever it is, anyway.
Right.
Steelers.
Oh God.
Oh God, Freddie.
Steelers versus the Chiefs.
You are without doubt
Now,
the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
Oh.
You used that the other day. You at least be original.
I love it. That's awesome.
Is anybody apart from Freddie going to pick the Steelers?
Come on, guys. Come on, you know you want to.
Tumbleweed. Right. Now, Freddie.
Yeah.
And I'm deadly serious. No one mute him or throw him out the room for being insane.
Yeah.
How the hell are the Steelers going to go in to Arrowhead or whatever it's called now and win? The floor
They
is
won't.
yours, sir.
They won't. But now I'm going to try and tell you why I think they could. But they're not going to. Just put it out there now. But we've got Najee Harris, who's one of the better running backs in the league. We've got Big Ben, who can do stuff, but only in the fourth quarter. If it's the first three, he's pretty terrible. We've got the best defensive player in the league, who can cause some carnage. I am struggling already. Alex Highsmith, whose dad's on the show, so big up, Alex. He's going to be.
Don't you dare use Alex Highsmith's dad as a reason to pick them.
Don't forget though, Nick. When Sam was on the show, though, Alex was dominant against Orlando Brown in Kansas City. So that's one thing I will have. I've tried. We got a good kicker.
Do you know what? If I had some straws, I'd pass the team.
But the last time we played the Chiefs in the playoffs, our kicker kicked 6 field goals and we beat them. So that counts. I'm sticking him in there.
When was that? 1946.
Not that long ago. 2016, I think.
Yeah, it was 2016. It was the first time an NFL team won a playoff game without scoring a touchdown or something. That was before Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs would always find the most obscure, random way to lose a playoff game somehow or another. It was ridiculous. But
yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster's back, which is good news for us.
Well, at least you'll still be able to do a couple of dances because that's probably all he will be doing.
Freddie, all you need to do is your Kevin Keegan impression here for the British followers. The whole, we'd love it if we beat you. That's all you need to say, because Pooh Scott, his Twitter will blow up if your Steelers win, but I can't see it.
I must admit, if the Steelers did go in there and win, it would be the funniest thing ever. Not because, well, in fact, yeah, I will call it a buck, just because Scott, I know, is going to get flamed.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's one thing I must admit. This is one thing I love about this game is that there is zero expectations on us. We've got absolutely no hope at all, which actually does make us somewhat dangerous in the fact that we are not that great, but we know we're not that great, and we know that we've got nothing to lose. So may as well take a shot and see what happens.
There you go. I like that.
I'm backing my boys.
All
Go
I'm
the
going to
Steelers.
say is the Chiefs,
There you go.
The Chiefs beat the
I love
Steelers
it.
basically by 30 points 3 or 4 weeks ago.
They did.
They didn't have Travis Kelce.
They
didn't have Nick Bolton. Tyreek Hill played less than half the snaps, had like 15 or 20 yards receiving. The only way the Steelers win this game is if somehow the Chiefs are like -5 in the turnovers and the referees go all Cincinnati on us and give you 6 or 7 or 8 bad calls. It's.
Can I just throw in this little nugget, which is always funny? Ben Roethlisberger, 3 of 4 in wild card round. Tied most losses all time. So if that was Dragon's Den, they'd definitely say we're out. I'm going to go for a massive landslide and a humiliating last roll of the dice for Big Ben. Thank you very much. Goodbye. I am saying that the Chiefs are going to win by at least 20 points. And I may even wake up to watch this game just so I can laugh and get on Twitter, take the piss out of Freddie, obviously, but just for shits and giggles. Carl, who are you going for?
I also tried to help Freddie on Thursday and tried to argue the fact that there is maybe a 2, maybe 3% chance the Steelers could win this game, but it just seems so unlikely. You need all the cards to fall in your favor. You need Mahomes to throw interceptions like he hasn't had done before. You need Darrell Williams and the likes of Tyreek Hill and Kelsey to fumble the ball for the defense to recover in short field. You need TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, and Devin Bush to rush for Mahomes, not blitz him, just rush him, pressure him, and hope he makes mistakes. You need all that to fall in line, and even that probably is not going to be enough. So I am taking the Chiefs.
I think that's pretty conclusive. Shell, who have you got?
Another one. I am going to go with that awful.
Yes,
ugly,
we scored.
Ugly red. Yeah.
Come on.
I want you guys to get it too, but they just are I mean, the scales are tipped more towards the Chiefs. That's just what it is, and they're in their house, so that's going to be extremely crowded. It's going to be a full house. They always come prepared. They come from far and wide. Chiefs fans do travel well too. I sure as hell don't see it like the Niners and the Cowboys. I don't see it like that. I don't see all these terrible towels in Kansas City. I just don't see it. So I do see it a little bit as a closer score, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of terrible towels at the beginning of the game, and then with about 5 minutes gone in the first quarter, they will have all they'll be crying in them.
Right.
Because that's what they'll be using to dry their tears. Paul,
I reckon Scott's going to back the Steelers.
Oh, yeah, he looks like it. Definitely. He looks like he's leaning that way. Paul.
I did have some fun on Twitter this week with Freddie, actually, in a good way. I seen some GIFs and memes about Steelers fans, and Freddie was like, yes, Paul, I know you're new to the show. I've had these sent, but I thought you've got to enjoy it, buddy, because I can't see anything other than a Chiefs win this week. I think Scott's hit the nail on the head, and I think he's right. Sorry, Freddie, but I definitely can't see anything other than a Chiefs win.
Interesting comment there. Chiefs.
Yeah.
Steelers would need a steel curtain defense to make this game interesting. I think they'd need a steel curtain, let alone a defense.
Facts.
Obviously, Freddie, you're gonna. Are you?
You all went with the Jacksonville Jaguars to get thrashed by the Colts last week, and you were all wrong. And you're all going to be wrong this week when the Steelers go to Kansas City.
Yeah, but
and win.
Freddie, the problem that is, there is a lot of people in this world that have a phobia of clowns. The common denominator on all this is that they're all Colts fans. So,
but we've got a clown this season at quarterback, and we're still in the playoffs.
I love
it. But that was more by luck than judgment. Scott, I'm going to ask you, Scott, because I know that you're going to pick the Steelers.
Scott's done with the Steelers, obviously.
With the Chiefs hoodie on.
No, the Chiefs are going to. I mean, I think you might see Chad Henne in the backups in a playoff game. Honestly, in the
I
fourth
agree.
quarter.
When you're down by 30 points.
I'm not trying to. I don't want to hate on Freddie because Freddie's being a good sport about all this, man. But I don't think the Jaguars did you a favor, actually, Freddie. I think it might have been better off if the Jaguars would have won and you just would have sat out this weekend and not had to endure the beatdown that's coming your way tomorrow night.
Scott, do you know who the Steelers actually are? They are that afraid guy that has to cross the impossible glass bridge on Squid Games. Can they get across it without breaking the first piece of glass?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be unlikely. So yeah, Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win this game like 40-13 or something. I just don't see it being close.
You've even got Big Ben scoring 13 points. Come on. This is Big Ben.
You see these guys right here?
I'm just letting these shots.
See Sack Nation going against that offensive line of the Steelers and that fat head. It's not even actually Big Ben out there anymore. We talked about this a few weeks ago. It's like it's a fat head of Big Ben out there. He can't escape. He crumbles as soon as he gets hit. I know they have Najee Harris, but their line's terrible. The Chiefs just all you got to do is line up and stop Najee Harris and make Big Ben beat you with. People talking about Juju Smith-Schuster being back. The guy hasn't played all year.
He ain't coming back. He ain't going to be back for the game.
He ain't the one. It's Chiefs are going to win big in this game.
Ryan?
Come on, Ryan.
Scott, my message to you, man. My message to you. I was thinking about what I'm going to say to you about the Chiefs. Because I know a lot of 49er fans have been soaking about last 2 years of us losing that Super Bowl. Well, we got to get over it. It's over. It's done. You guys won it. Fair and square.
They did.
You know, we got to square with you and say it's over. It's done. So basically, we got to move on.
Yep.
Hope we see you guys again. I know Niner fans are saying, "Oh, let's see them again." Love to.
Let's go.
I know. Exactly.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So, but Freddie, sorry, my man, I'm going for the Chiefs. Sorry.
I will give you this opportunity, Freddie, to avoid the lone wolf and just pick the Chiefs, or you can take the lone wolf.
Oh, I'm taking the lone wolf. I'm not backing down on my boys.
You've picked against the Steelers before, Freddie, and you're going to pick them in this game now.
Yep. I'm not letting you have the satisfaction of me going against my team, Scott. So I'm backing the Steelers.
The lone wolf is yours. Take it away.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be embarrassing. Right? Can it be any worse than normal?
No.
Dig deep, Freddie. Dig deep.
Steelers going Super Bowl!
If only I had a terrible towel, I would have thrown it at the screen in disgust.
Come on, boy.
2 more games to go. Obviously, we're going to leave the best till last, obviously. Cardinals versus the Rams.
Oh.
Now, I have got to pick this game because I can't say fuck them both as much as I want to say that. After last week, I'm picking the Cardinals. Just because I hate McVay more.
Oh, surprise.
After last week. I hate both teams. But that little quarterback is going to pass and run all over this vaulted defense, just like the Niners did with Debo. So, yeah, I am going Cardinals. Carl?
This is going to be a case of Kyler Murray. He's 1-5 against the Rams. He hasn't got a very good record against them. Matthew Stafford hasn't won a playoff game in his career. Do you know who has won a playoff game in their career? Tim Tebow and Blake Bortles. That is a horrible... Hang on. Ouch. 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 Damn. Ow.
I still want to know how Scott's burner account, he can put all these messages in the chat, but his hands are always visible. I don't get it. Don't understand it.
But I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think we've seen too much this season when Matthew Stafford is needed for a game-winning drive. He shits the bed. He crumbles when the lights are at their brightest. So I'm going to be taking Arizona.
Red Jet.
Should the other team that we haven't picked, the other game we haven't picked yet, should one of them go further, it would be the easier battle should we go any further in this playoffs and things like that. The Rams obviously tend to fold when they don't. They shouldn't fold. I would love to see Kyler Murray again. So let's just see those little red birds. Period.
Paul.
Like you said, Nick, this is one that you don't want to pick. Which one do you dislike the most? I'm going to say the Rams on this one. I think the Cardinals missing Hopkins, and I think after them losing last week, I think there's a lot of questions to be asked for the Rams. So if they don't bounce back this week, it's huge. So I'm going to go for the Rams this one.
Still the same sorry ass Rams. Freddie?
I'm going with the Cardinals. I think that I'm not that keen on either team. I think both teams have got flaws. I don't think either are going to get anywhere near the Super Bowl. But the game's in LA. The pressure is all on LA. Matthew Stafford in big games, whenever he's played in any for Detroit, and there weren't many, he's never really played very well. And when the pressure cooks up, he doesn't seem to deliver. I'm not sold on the Cardinals either. They faded big time yet again, same season with Kyler Murray, and I'm not a Kingsbury fan at all. But it's just a game of who I think is going to bottle it less. And I think the Cardinals have got less pressure on them going into a game in LA than a team that have got all the expectations to go and win this season. And I'm counting on Kyler Murray to cause us a bit of a surprise. So I'm going with the Cardinals. But again, it's a coin flip game.
Scott.
Okay, so help me out here.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals started the season 8-0.
Yep.
And what was their final record? They 9-8.
11-6, isn't it?
I think it was something like 11-6. I think it was. I'll double check. I think it was something like 11-6. But carry on.
I want to say they've only won like one or two of their last 7 or 8 games coming down the stretch here. They've collapsed epically.
Yeah, 11-6.
11-6.
So they went from they started 8-0, right? So they've won 3 games in the last 2 months.
Yeah, they've won 3 of their last 9.
Yeah, that's
in Cliff Kingsbury's tenure as head coach for the Cardinals. Through the first 7 games, they're 15-5-1. Through the rest of the year, they're 9-19.
Right.
There's a pattern developing even when he was in college, because he had exactly the same problem at college.
Yeah.
Started off very strong, and then teetered off towards the end.
I mean, the guy had Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback and couldn't have a winning record, for crying out loud. That just tells you all you need to know about that guy. The Cardinals are they're free fall. They're not that good. I think the Rams are the easy pick in this game at home. And I know Stafford, people always say he struggled in the big games and he's this or he's that, but I take Stafford over Kyler Murray. And no disrespect to this, but the Rams, they should have won that game against the 49ers. They had it in the bag, and they left the door open for the 49ers there at the end.
Okay, Scott, I'll ask you a question. Who do you think is under most pressure? Is it Kyler Murray or is it Matthew Stafford?
I don't know.
Neither have won a playoff game.
Start the Cardinals.
Neither have won a playoff game.
I know, but after the start that they had and all the hype that they had, I don't know. Now they've scuffled down the stretch here and only won 3 out of their last 6 or their last 8 or whatever it was, and pissed away the division. I mean, they were in the driver's seat to win that division. I don't know. I don't know that the Rams have more pressure. If they do, it's not significantly more. I don't think. The Rams are the better team. They've played better through the course of the entire season. So I'm going to take the Rams to win this game.
Ryan?
And Nick, I just noticed myself. I love your name on your. I love the name Jimmy G Thumb. I like that. So, man. Well, put it this way: I don't like the Rams or the Cardinals, but I don't like the Rams more. So yeah, I got birds. I got them birds.
Definitely a hard one to pick, but for me, after last week, fuck McVay. I hate the Rams anyway, and that shit just made me happy. Bottling it, doing those 3 runs right at the end, deserved everything he got. Everything.
Disgraceful.
Paul avoids a lone wolf.
Just the main event of the evening. The rivalry is back. Jimmy G and the 49ers head to Jerry World. Now, if the 49ers win this game before we pick, over or under, they show Jerry Jones looking like he's sucking on a lemon in his executive box, over or under 4 times in the final quarter if the Niners are up big. Carl?
Over. Massively over.
Shell?
Same.
Paul?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I think it's going to be closer, but I would love to see that.
Freddie?
No chance.
Scott? That's not an answer, by the way. It was over or under, not no chance. That you can't have a no chance, I'm afraid. That's a lone wolf.
You know it's going to be over. I mean, it'll be weekend at Jerry's on the broadcast. I mean, he'll be.
Who's actually calling the game? Is it Aikman and Buck, or is it Romo and Nance? Does anyone know who's calling the game?
I think it's Romo and Nance.
So yeah, it's Romo and Nance.
Is it better? The original Chocotron 5000 Mark 1 will be in the building to watch his team get absolutely run out of town. Can't wait. Scott, Niners, Cowboys, choose.
I have to go first?
Yeah. Just before I cut you off and kick you out.
Yeah, that's probably coming. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game, man. I just don't. I don't see Jimmy G and your offense keeping up with Dak and the boys at home, man. I just don't see it. I don't. I think you guys will make a valiant effort. I don't think it'll be a blowout. But yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to win at home. I think it's just going to be too much.
Let's go Steelers, you toe.
Hey man, I'm trying to avoid putting the curse on you guys. Okay, that's what it really is.
Too late. You've cursed yourself now. Carl, Niners or Cowboys?
Take your time.
Come on, Carl.
No, I am going to take the 49ers. Is Trent Williams back?
Yes.
He's about to keep Micah Parsons very, very quiet in this game. When Trent and Laken this year have only allowed a total of 3 sacks combined and a total of 1,106 blocking snaps this season. You put Trent Williams back in, that offensive line is as solid as anything. I trust the running game to pound the rock with Elijah Mitchell. Remember, the Cowboys, one of their worst losses, and Scott, you will attest to this, was against Denver. Denver rushed for 190 yards on the Cowboys. So they're not good at stopping the run. So if the 49ers are gonna put hat on a hat in this running game, then that's what they're gonna have to do.
Right.
Nick Bosa, Armstead, Arden Key, they're going to have to have big games as well. Containing Dak Prescott is the main key to this game. Yes. And Jimmy G, not turning the ball over, making the simple reads. But as we saw, Jimmy G is clutch when he needs to be. You need one drive to do it. He can do the job. And I'm taking the 49ers to upset the Cowboys because guess what? Every analyst and everyone is saying that the Cowboys are on upset alert. So I'm taking the Niners.
Yeah. Hey,
Yes, Carl. Yes.
I don't think the 49ers can't win.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I just don't think they're going to. That's all.
The only thing I would say,
the Cowboys play a lot. The Cowboys play a lot more of a finesse type of offense. They prefer to pass the ball rather than run it because Ezekiel Elliott is just not good anymore. The 49ers are a lot more of a physicality team. They play bully ball. They want to hit you over the head with a sledgehammer. The Niners are more physical and are more bold, and they prefer to run downhill than the Cowboys. If the Cowboys go behind, we'll see how good Dak Prescott really is, because when he's fallen behind in games, he cannot bring them back. And I'll also say this as a final point as well. Dallas can freaking scream and mock all they want about the NFC East. The NFC East is shit. They are 6-0. Outside of the NFC East, they are 6-5 on the season. And really, that only one legitimate win was against my Patriots, and we took them to overtime. I don't believe in fool's gold with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't. So give me the Niners. They're more physical. They're going to play bully ball all game long.
Damn. Oh, I love him.
He feels better about his Niners than he did his Patriots.
I'm really trying to tell you.
I'm starting to wonder. He had a 49ers screen behind him to start the show.
No, he didn't. He had something else to start the show. Then he changed it.
What are you wearing underneath that jersey, Carl? That's what I want to know. You got a 49ers shirt under there, or what's the deal?
No. The only red I've got is my can of Coke. That's it. So.
And I want the 49ers to win. I do. And I think they can win. I just don't see them. I thought they should have lost last week, and I think they're going to have a hard time keeping up with the Cowboys.
So, are you flipping and flopping now, Scott?
No.
I think, in fact, Carl has even convinced me more that the Niners are going to win, and I was convinced already. Red Jet, what's your thoughts?
Oh boy. Okay, so using my experience from the spaces, here we go. I'm the only girl in the room, so I can do this. Okay, so Jimmy G, we'll start with him. So at the end of the day, he does what he needs to do when he has to do it. That is his job. Period. Know where your defenders are. That's all I'm going to say about that aspect. Secondly, do not overanalyze if you do throw a deep ball, which we do not see from Jimmy G. We've had spurts. We've been consistently inconsistent when it comes to that department. Just keeping it a buck. Now, for the Cowboy side, they're hot too, but we are getting hot at the most opportune time. We're getting people back. The scale is tipped just a little bit on our side. I love my team. I'm keeping it a buck. No, I'm not picking the other team. Of course not. I am red and gold, so I'm dead cold. I'm the only female in the room. It is not going to be a blowout, but it will be a close one. It will be a close one. I will say that. Is it going to be some 34-31 kind of thing? No. I think it will be a little lower in the score. I don't do scores. I do stat line. I'm not going to provide that right now. But my money, at the end of the day, we weren't expected to go this far. I am tipping the scale towards my team. Yes. So that's it. Whew, I did it.
Paul.
Well done.
I'm still recovering from Carl's preaching. I love it. Like Scott said, that boy is a 49er. Get him a hat. Get him a jersey. Unlike you, Shell, we do on the 49er Faithful UK pod, we're always pressed for a score. So I went for a 31-28 Niners win, and I'm staying on that. I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to run the ball. I think we're going to have the emotional roller coaster. I don't know how that's going to look, but there's no way on Sunday night at 9:30 that Nick is having a quiet night on Twitter. I'm going to be watching the game. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Nick's Twitter feed because it's Niners football this season. We're going to win, but it's not going to be easy. You could make an argument for both teams. I appreciate Scott's honesty. I can see where he's coming from. I loved Carl's passion. That has definitely got me fired up, Carl. And the Niners are going to win 31-28. So there you go, Nick.
He's making me a believer. Is this?
The trouble is, last week I was going to stay away from Twitter and not go on it during the game because I try not to, especially when it's like Sunday night football, Monday
I went
night.
about as well as your head over heart type thing.
But I was so disgusted in Jimmy G's first half performance. I had to tell people because everyone was, oh, you're a Jimmy sexual, you're this, you're that. I wanted him benched. I wanted Jimmy G benched. And
Can I say something to that really quick before you go on to the next person? So I didn't want to cut you off. I'm just going to say this because the whole world is watching. Fuck what people say on Twitter. It's Twitter. It's the internet. They don't care. They're not coming out of their app to say it to your face. They're sure as hell not flying across the pond. So fuck it. Yes, I said it. Just saying.
but I might fly across there. Who knows? Yeah, I was gonna stay.
Close the border when you do.
Sorry, what did you say, Freddie? I missed that.
I said we'll close the border when you do.
Yeah, what, and leave me under there? Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, I couldn't stay off Twitter because I was just disgusted, and that's it. That's all I'm saying on that. Freddie, Niners, Cowboys, choose.
I genuinely think this isn't an upset at all. I think the Niners win this game. I don't see how the Niners winning is an upset. The Cowboys have got a good record because they play in a really bad division. They battered the Eagles, who aren't very good. Washington are a joke, and the Giants. That third
the
and
Eagles
nine?
are a playoff team.
That third and 9 last
Barely.
week was just appalling. So yeah, well, yeah, the Eagles are in the playoffs, but then the Steelers are in the playoffs, and they're not exactly great either. So again, it should be a 12-team playoff like it used to be.
The
Anyway,
Eagles didn't need the Jags to win to get in the playoffs, so that's the difference.
Screw you.
That's the most animated I think I've ever seen Freddie ever. You finally pushed his button, Scott.
I did.
He did. Yep.
That was very impressive.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys will run all over. Will get run all over. Dak Prescott doesn't look that healthy. He's played well. He battered the Eagles last week because they had their second.
They just scored 50.
Yeah, they played their Eagles second stringers. Big deal. But when he plays against proper teams, look at what he did when they played the Cardinals. The one team that you a couple of weeks ago said that had fallen apart. The Cardinals went into Dallas and beat them. So you can't just say, oh, the Cowboys are all that great. They're not really. Their record against the top teams isn't brilliant. I got bored out of my mind watching the Cowboys offense try and beat up the Chiefs a few weeks ago. So we're not going to copy that. We're going to play like a proper team, unlike what we did on Boxing Day. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much talent on that Cowboys team, but I just can see Jimmy G throwing a big ball over the most overrated cornerback in the league, Trevon Diggs, and the Niners winning the game.
Fred,
I'm shocked. And I know Freddie hasn't been drinking, but I honestly am shocked. I never thought I would. And again, I don't know if he's using the reverse psychology route that you do sometimes, Scott, when you pick the Niners. So who knows?
I backed you last week, if you remember.
You actually did.
And they won. So, yeah. I've been on fire with my predictions in the last couple of weeks.
Maybe there is something in that. Michelle, I know you've got to. Michelle, I know you've got to step out, so I'll let you do your final thoughts.
No. Okay. No, I know you're going to be done soon, so I'll hang for a little bit.
Okay, no worries. Okay, Ryan.
Okay, I'm looking at the injury report for the last one, and we're all full healthy, limited practices, full practices. The ones that did not practice are not really injury related. So that's a great thing for us. So my score prediction, I know I was supposed to give it today because I even told the guys last night I was going to give it up today. Sorry about my daughter in the background. I'm sorry. But I'm hoping we at least have, like I say, every game, at least a 10-point or a 14-point lead by and 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter with us having the ball. Because if we do that, we control the game at the end and hoping we can get first downs, extending the drives.
Right.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
Run the clock.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. Exactly.
Period.
Thank you, Michelle.
No worries.
Now, it's very difficult to know who to pick in this game because obviously it's very difficult. It's a very difficult game to pick.
Oh, stop. Just stop.
Very difficult. I don't know
You don't even
which
back
way
the
to go.
Cowboys when they play the Jags, so come on.
He's here. He's here. He's here. Oh, you. Why'd you come off?
He was here.
I've got the jersey on for you, Dion. I've been waiting for you, buddy. I've got it on.
Now,
that's the wrong goddamn jersey. It's too early in the morning for this shit. Got the goddamn Jimmy Garoppolo in the morning.
My Taurus is here. Yes. I needed backup, baby.
I am so sorry, man. you know how you take a nap in the middle of the fucking day and then you wind up all night? That's what happened.
You're here. Dion is here.
Dion is here.
Well, let's see. Did we do game picks already?
Yes, we did, sir.
we're on the final one, but what I'll do, Dion, hold your water for a minute, and because Shell's got to go pretty shortly, so I'll do my pick, and then I'll get you to pick your picks.
Yes, sir.
And we'll go from there. So,
understood.
Obviously, I'm not a 49er fan at all because I spend all my money on jerseys, but I don't support the team or the players. So, Niners, Cowboys. That's a tough one for me, but I think I might just lean with the Niners. And I'm going 35-27. Jerry is going to be crying in his little booth. Romo's going to be on the broadcast trying to be as unbiased as he can, and he won't be able to get that horrible taste out of his mouth.
We all know that's not going to happen.
Cowboys
that word
go down. It's going to be hilarious. I hope it's a really chippy game as well. I want to see him getting into it. I want to see him smack him in the mouth and let them know who the daddies are still. We're the hottest team, I would say, coming into the playoffs. Hotter than the Chiefs. Hotter than the Raiders.
You won 9 of your last 10?
It's my turn to speak. Shut up.
You can always count on Scott.
Hey, look, I was on a roll there, and he did that on purpose to put me off. Hotter than the Chiefs. We've got the best tight end in football, who apparently is only a blocker. Just saying. I'm really looking forward to it. I want it to be chippy. I want them to be in each other's faces. I want the faithful to show up and show out. I want Dak to get rattled because he can't get the calls off, just like Stafford last week. I am worried about their secondary, just as much as our secondary.
They do have one out. They do have a safety out. Keen O'Neal, he's out.
But it will be interesting. But I just hope that Jimmy doesn't do first half Jimmy, because I will be on Twitter and I will be calling his ass out again. And I'll have a meltdown. And I don't like having meltdowns. But Niners for me, obviously. Shell, listen, we'll let you go. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate your time this morning, even though you had to get up 2 hours earlier than you thought.
I know. 3 hours.
My time zone thing has never been my strong point, but we always go 9:30 Eastern. And now I remember.
Let me question this. How much longer would you be on? That'll give me a good question mark. How long do you think?
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll answer that for you, Nick. Jet, we never know. We could be on this. We could be on here for an hour. We could be on this motherfucker for 4. Like
Especially
we
once Dion
literally
finds
talk
that
shit for
kick.
football, but what I will tell you is save your voice, Jet. We need all that energy tomorrow. We need all of it. I'm telling you. Listen to me. Every Niner fan out there, I'm going to take a quick second. Every Niner fan out there, all of your energy needs to be put into this game tomorrow, whether you are at the stadium, whether you are watching at a bar, whether you are at home. I want people to get noise complaints because you are cheering that hard. I do not care for the fact that Jimmy is the quarterback. That will never be my strong point. As Nick's time zone ain't his strong point, my love for Jimmy G is not mine. But he is the quarterback. So let's just fucking deal with it and hope that this bastard goes out and doesn't throw a pick. At the end of the day, all of your energy must be poured into this game because we need it. We need to will every person that's going through an injury through the game. You got to have energy for Trent Williams. You got to have energy for Azeez Al-Shaair. You must have energy for Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tart and Fred Warner and Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and even fucking Jimmy Garoppolo.
Facts.
We need all that energy. Expound. I need you to be exhausted at the end of the day tomorrow. We got to have it.
We do. I'll wait for Shad to come back. But Chiefs Kingdom, I sent you a follow. I'm so glad you're here, Dion. Yay!
Hey, let me tell you something. Scott is the best person to have in here because he's fucking hilarious. He always has like the right soundbite at the weirdest fucking moment, and though he's a Chiefs fan, you still gotta love him. You really do. You fuck with him because he's still a cool guy. That's it right there. Now, Freddie, on the other hand, you can just take him off the fucking screen and call it a goddamn day. Because his quarterback don't even believe they should be in the fucking playoffs.
I'm dead.
And I will tell you this. I ain't never in my life seen anybody. Najee Harris is a straight up G. He's hardcore. He put that shit out there.
Yeah, because Najee doesn't actually realize what Ben was doing. But
what? Okay, please explain to me what Ben was.
All mind games. Andy Reid was playing at it, saying that we were the number one. We were playing like the number one seed. So just ignore it. It's all mind games. Reid and Ben have done this for years.
Okay, Scott, tell me if you believe that bullshit that just came out of Freddie's mouth.
I don't believe
I don't.
I saw the quote and I thought Ben was just trying to be funny and was trying to like motivate his team in some weird ass way. But
yeah, he's been and he is weird, so that could possibly be it. Okay.
Dion, let me just say, I've just backed the Niners and Scott's just backed the Cowboys. So get over to my side here and stop backing him.
I didn't back the Cowboys, Freddie.
Scott's got like this weird logic thing. I think low-key Scott's an analytics guy. So that's why he backed the Cowboys, because Mike McCarthy loves analytics and shit. But that's how that works. Yeah. So
really what it comes down to is I think the offense, the Cowboys are missing up. Again, I hope your Niners win, man. I do. I'll be rooting for the Niners. I won't be surprised if they win. Because it's not like I don't think they can win. I just don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. You know,
we need to remind Dion of Carl's energy for the 49ers, Dion. You would have been proud of Carl's prediction pick. The energy for the 49ers.
He was the one who reminded me, man. He said, hey, he's like, mate, where are you at? I'm like, bro, I had a long night. And he's like, I just backed your team. Get your ass on the fucking show. I'm like, okay, get my ass up. Get in here.
More energy for the Niners pick than he's had for his Patriots picks all year, I think, combined.
Because I'm nervous as fuck. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he should be nervous. He got a rookie quarterback going into a game, and it's not to say that he's not a good rookie quarterback. It's just it's nerves. But Carl, run down these list of games for me real quick so I can pick them before Nick gets back, because I forgot I'm supposed to do that. I'll just pick and go. I'll pick and go.
Raiders at Bengals.
Bengals.
Patriots at Bills.
I'm sorry. I appreciate you backing me, but I got to go Buffalo. I don't think Mac Jones has enough for Buffalo.
Return the favor from last week. I take it. It's fine. Eagles at Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Steelers at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Take your time over that one, Dion.
Can you believe,
it's
can
obvious.
you believe that Freddie
Okay.
actually almost picked against his team, but then if you'd have seen his monologue that he gave about the Steelers, crazy shit.
It's all bad if you got Jet shaking her head.
And last one, Dion. Cardinals at Rams.
Fucking tie. They never win. Fuck
You can't
both of
tie
them.
it. You can't tie it.
Fuck
You
both
can't
of them.
tie
You
it.
know
Someone's
what?
got to win.
You know what? I want the Rams because the Cardinals always give us a goddamn problem. I'll take the Rams because we're gonna beat their ass again.
Okay.
Was that Dion's mic drop moment there?
It must have been.
Trying to figure out what the
Madness. Yeah, I think there's definitely some good games. It's going to be some close calls. Well, everything except the Steelers because they're getting whacked. They are getting fucking whacked. It's not even going to be. Honestly, Freddie, I promise that I won't tweet anything except I'll have the funeral march on in the background for Big Ben as he sits there on the bench crying because it's his last game, and then all of a sudden he'll decide that he's coming back for another ride next year because that's what he did last year, right? They lost in the first round of the playoffs and it was all. And you hear the
as long as
violins
you don't throw the ball 300 yards over Ben's head on the first snap, will have been an improvement on last year. So I'm keeping my optimism.
Damn, somebody over here popular as hell right now.
Man.
iPhone just dinging the man. I feel like some Adam fucking Schefter on the damn show.
It's Freddie. He does this on my show. He leaves his phone on, doesn't put it on silent, and I was like, I'm having to edit out bits
it's
on
not
my
my phone.
podcast
It's not my phone. It's my laptop. It's all that because our
so it's all linked.
That was
Yeah.
he's rewatching the Steelers versus Chiefs game from the other week, and that's all the touchdowns on the highlights dinging as they go off.
Oh, dude.
I don't know. So Dion, obviously, what were your thoughts on last week's game? Because we haven't really touched base. What were your thoughts on the game last week?
Well, we're talking about our game, correct?
The only game that mattered.
Exactly. For me, I'll be real quick. I'm not going to take long because I know I sometimes go on a fucking rant and it's annoying to everyone. But I'll say
could
this.
you mean, Dion? You've never gone off on a tangent or a rant.
This is why I like Nick because he understands it. Long story short, shout out to Elijah Mitchell for running the ball well. We looked like shit in the first half, came out and played like ballers in the second half. The defense gave everything they had. They showed up. Jalen Ramsey, you got your chain snatched when you threw your body into Debo, and all it did was throw off his rhythm for a hot second, and he looked down at you like, what the fuck was that? You need to, everyone on this panel, when you speak this name, you must say it like this: Juwan motherfucking Jennings. You don't call him Juwan Jennings. You call him Juwan motherfucking Jennings. That man has earned a nickname. He balled out. He did everything he was supposed to. And I love that this kid is progressing. He is what we wanted Jalen Hurd to be. The other thing that I will say, oh, that's nice, Nick. That is very nice. I like it. Matches, look, the lettering matches my hat. The other thing I will say is I heard a lot of people jump on the Jimmy G train. I'm not doing it. Let me tell you why. The man still had 3 fucking turnovers. We were in that position partially because of him. So you got a fumble and 2 interceptions and 1 TD. And I'm supposed to, basically crown you the fucking savior because you drove down the field. That only tells me one of 2 things. 1, that you only know how to play in a 2-minute offense. And 2, unless your back is really against the wall, you obviously don't show the fuck up at games. So while he did help us get downfield, while he did throw the TD pass to Juwan Jennings to help us get in there, I still cannot back him and say he won that game because he did not. The other thing that I will say is shout out to D'Amico Ryans doing a fantastic job. Shout out to Kyle Shanahan for getting in his bag in the second half and taking the ball out of Garoppolo's hands and running the shit out of it. But those are my thoughts, man. We won that game, plain and simple. And Sean McVay, you look like a dumbass celebrating the fucking end zone, which should have been a flag. That should have been a flag. You cannot go in the end zone and celebrate with your players. I don't care who you are. Bill Belichick don't even do that shit.
Talk about it.
At the end of the day, we won. Sean McVay, you continue to be Kyle's bitch. You will always be little brother. And if we see you in the playoffs, we're going to sun your ass again, as they say on the East Coast.
That flag, by the way, was
See
sent
why I
to me.
love Dion. Taurus power.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other funny thing is that was the shortened version. If he'd have done the lengthened version, we'd have still been here tomorrow at kickoff. But that's another story. Got to give a shout out to 49er Hodge on Twitter. All the 49er fans obviously know who he is. He did send me a bag of goodies. That was one of the flags that came, I believe that was from Levi's this week. What the hell is that noise?
Dion putting out a fire in his house or something?
It's either that or he's making a proper coffee from a fucking barista machine. Sounds like it. It's like, he's frothing up the milk.
Knowing Dion, it isn't going to be any instant shit. Yeah, so as I was saying, yeah,
the only instant shit will be the Niners going out the playoffs. But
oh god,
ideal.
At least we didn't have to rely on the Jags to get us there, my son. The Jags. That'll be the only favour they ever do you in your lifetime. So don't start banking on a
And
team
as I
like
said
that.
earlier, are we really sure it was that much of a favor?
Well, it would be if they weren't coming up against the Chiefs. But yeah, as you say, Scott, they're probably better off. They should have been at home because they would have been better off.
Yeah, right now there's a development story going on. Minnesota Vikings have put in a request to interview D'Amico Ryans. It's development right now. About maybe 45 minutes ago. Everybody's been tweeting it. So I just want to let you guys know about it. I'd like to know who's going to be our freaking next defensive coach. That's all I want to know.
We'll take Robert Suller back. That's fine.
Wait, you said they are trying to interview D'Amico Ryans?
Yep, they put a request.
You know what? This that brings me to another quick topic. Since Nick so affectionately made fun of me as of my rants and tangents, which I love for that.
See, I knew you'd find another tangent to just go off on.
Just
Very
a quick
quickly
one.
before you start, Dion. Carly, 49er Hodge hooked me up that flag. It was from the home game this season. He smashed someone, an opposing fan, over the head. No, he didn't really, but he got me a flag somehow by hook or by crook. Hodge, you are the best, and one day I will get over to California and buy you a beer. Sorry, Dion. Do carry on, old boy.
No, you're fine, man. Hey, you go to California, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna love it, man. It's a beautiful place. It just costs a lot of goddamn money to live there. Jesus Christ. Tell you that much. The only thing I will say on that topic is, and it just brought me to this. David Culley was fired.
Here we go.
Carl, you already know where I'm going with that.
I know where you're going with this, mate.
It's because Carl, and you know, this is part of the reason that and it's nothing against anyone else on the panel. This is part of the reason why I fuck with Carl, because Carl understands these things and he sees it and he calls it out just as I do. Why did David Culley get fired? You handed him a shit team. You never gave him a chance to even build the team, and you expected him to do something with nothing. You made sure that Deshaun Watson stayed on the bench when a man had no fines against him. The NFL had not suspended him. There was no levies legally against him in any way, shape, or form. That's all I'm saying. And you fired David Culley after 1 year. We now have one black head coach in the NFL. That's all I have to say. 1.
Bearing in mind that there are now 24 coaches currently coaching NFL teams, there are 8 openings and 1 NFL coach. So that's 1 out of 24 are black. And yet 70% of the players are black. There's no
sense
correlation at all. I don't know.
I'll add this as well, Freddie.
Mhm.
Let's come out of the NFL for the time being, okay? And Dion will attest to this as well. There's 30 teams in the NBA. 14 of them are run by black head coaches, which is nearly 50%. That's pretty much, that is outstanding. So why can it not transfer to the NFL level if 78% of the coaches are, 78% of the players are black origin? As Dion rightly said, David Carney got brought into a situation where the whole franchise was in complete turmoil. The Deshaun Watson saga had taken a nasty turn with all the massage parlors he had been to and everything else. It was just a complete and utter shit show at Houston. And I think at this moment in time, what was David Carney meant to work with? What was he supposed to do? Turn this team, which was a pile of shit, and turn it into beef Wellington. Turn this darky, murky toilet water into champagne. What the hell was he meant to do with this roster? The only decent weapon that he had was Brandon Cooks. His best running back was Rex Burkhead, who was a third string running back for the Patriots. The defense is a fucking turnstile. The secondary's no good. What in the hell was David Carney meant to work with?
I don't think they ever wanted to hire him.
No, I don't think they did either. I think they only hired him because Deshaun Watson wanted a black head coaching.
I think they hired him.
And now, obviously, with the Brian Flores being fired from Miami, which is fucking laughable because now they're going to be fucked now for the next 3 years. Now, all of a sudden, the rumors going around that Flores now may go for a head coaching job at Houston, which then may entice Deshaun Watson back into the frame.
But the Flores thing, that's because him and the general manager aren't on the same page about the quarterback.
Honestly, I have to agree with him on that. I don't think that had anything to do with his rate. I think that was just a GM and head coach just not being on the same page. I think Flores wanted a different type of quarterback, and they were basically saying, "Hey, we picked Tua. This is your guy. You're going to have to stick with him, or you're not." But it just the disparity is just for me. It's really unfortunate that we have these types of situations, man, where you have all of these people in these high positions. And to be honest with you, I've said this before and I'll say it again. We won't see a change in head coaches until we start seeing a change in the front office. You have to look. The only minority owner is Shad Khan. That is it. Everyone else, we all know who they are and we all know what they are. And it's not, and it kills me because the Rooney Rule to me is just a crock of shit. That's just how I feel about it. I appreciate Rooney for at least doing that. I do. But it's a crock of shit because all that says is I got to interview you. So for me, shit, if I want to look good, I'm going to interview a billion black people. I mean, I'll hire one of them.
You know what, Dion, I totally agree with you about that rule. Yeah. Whilst on the premise of it, it's
beautiful, but
there should be a rule where you have to have X amount of black head coaches or, minority head coaches.
It should be who's best fit for the fucking job. Exactly. And that's what it should be. Oh, I apologize. The other minority coach we have is Ron Rivera. I apologize. Ron Rivera is Latino. So shout out to Ron Rivera.
Also, obviously, Robert Saleh is
Lebanese. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
but that rule is a farce because all they have to do, as you say, they could interview 20 people, and out of that 20 people, 15 of them will be or could be black and quite easily capable to do the job.
One thing I do want to know is why is Jim Caldwell not back in a job? Because he did a really, really good job in Detroit and got fired from a team that
it's because
been absolutely useless.
Because the Niners went in there in the game of the week when they were 6-0, kicked his ass, and he didn't like Harbaugh shaking his hand like a little pussy. He then had to try and slap him on the back.
But there's so many examples of unfair firings, and 90% of them tend to be black coaches. What? Why? It make it. I don't know.
I mean, I to be honest,
but Nick, I've got
the two that shocked me, firing wise, was definitely Flores and Cully. Definitely.
But I just noticed the big scrolling on the bottom that said Deion's rant along form. Fuck me. Right. I completely just noticed that.
But I mean, David Culley's
that in and you didn't see it.
But I mean, David Culley's not some hot, sought-after prospect. He's been an assistant. He hasn't even really been a coordinator all that much.
He was just
in his
happy.
40
he
years
was happy
in the league. So, I mean, right now, there's one black head coach, but Flores is going to get another job. Eric Bieniemy looks like he's going to get a job somewhere. So you're going to see that number go back up.
I would love for that to happen. I would really love for Bieniemy to get a head coaching gig, and I don't care where he gets it, because the thing is if I'll tell you right now, if I'm a head coach. Oh, Carl,
stop right there. Have you noticed that there is a trend happening when black African American coaches, they always get the shitty jobs? Name one other black African American coach, excluding Mike Tomlin, Freddie, that has actually got a job and is actually in a good position. The only name I can find is Brian Flores from Miami. He was 10-7 last year, missed the playoffs by one game. 9-8 this year, missed the playoffs by one game.
Well, but here's the problem with that, Carl. Good teams aren't looking for coaches. It's just like high draft picks. Good teams don't pick high in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, put it like this: you have to find the right team, and you have to find the right glue. And when you walk in, it's just like walking into a new job. You must tell them what you want. You've got to set the bar. And for me, if I was a head coach walking in, the first thing I would tell them is, I need my contract guaranteed, and I need to know that I will not be fired in the first 3 years of my tenure here. I need to build this team. I can't build it in one. So don't expect me to take it to the fucking Super Bowl overnight. And sometimes that's not said. And David Culley was for optics. It looked good. Hey, we hired a black guy. Cool. And now we're going to fire him.
He was probably one of the few candidates out there that would actually even take that job.
Yeah, because everybody knows he's a Texas
organization. That franchise is
organization.
a mess, man. Like, you want to go work for that general manager and that owner? I don't know. I just have a hard time believing these guys are getting fired because of race. I mean, if an owner thinks that the best candidate to have his team win games and make the playoffs and win championships was black, purple, green, white, they're going to hire that person. I just don't see it. I really don't. I don't see a team interviewing a black candidate and saying, "Oh, I think he could take us to 3 of the next 7 Super Bowls, but I'm not going to hire him because he's black." I just don't think that happens. I don't. I just don't think it plays that big a factor into it.
It's just sad and sickening. Obviously, the coaching firings that we've seen so far have been not surprising at all. We knew Mike Zimmer was going to get fired because I think he ran its course. We knew that Matt Nagy was going to get fired at Chicago because of the way he was fucking around Justin Fields. Ryan Pace went as well. Well, that was inevitable. I think as soon as me and Freddie were quite shocked to find out that Dave Gettleman was able to retire before Joe Judge got fired. I find that quite bemusing.
Yeah. And I think Brian Flores, like the commenter just said, I think he probably is a good head coach. But if you've got a general manager that takes a quarterback as high as they took Tua, and the coach didn't want him, and the general manager is trying to explain to the owner why he took him, and you've got the coach going to the owner, that's just a politics thing, and that's a disagreement. And if you're not on the same page with your coach on who the quarterback is or who the quarterback should have been, that's going to be a toxic, dysfunctional relationship, and that's going to leak down to the team anyway. So Flores will go somewhere and probably do a good job. And the Dolphins, the owner is probably I think Tua can still be good.
But now he's going to have to learn under a new coach and a new system.
You're playing with the guy's
You're playing with the guy's rookie contract.
right? And also another point too with the Dolphins thing is, do you think Tua is going to develop as a quarterback with a defensive-minded head coach? I don't know. I mean, that's another dynamic to it as well. So I think there's so many things that go into these hirings and firings that we're not privy to, that we don't know about, and that quite frankly don't get talked about because it's not as hot button of a topic or as an issue. It is the race part of it. I think if an owner thought a candidate was going to get him to the Super Bowl and make him the next dynasty, it wouldn't matter what color skin was, where he came from, what his nationality was, what his sexual orientation was, any of that stuff. It wouldn't matter. I don't think that would matter.
Yeah, I just find it so strange, and so weird that these coaches just come into these bad organizations and are expecting miracles out of them. They're expected to reach the playoffs. They're expecting them to win the Super Bowl. As Dion said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in the space of a year. You have to give them time. And the problem is the Giants have been in this circle. They had bad Ben McAdoo for 2 years, got fired. They had Pat Shermer. He got fired as well. They then added who was the previous head coach before Joe Judge?
I don't know.
Judge, what was that guy's name?
To your point,
like
real quick.
he looked like an extra from The Sopranos. What was that guy's fucking name?
Yeah, you're right. Well, I forgot his name.
He came into the Chiefs a few years ago and beat us. I remember that son bitch. I remember that guy thinking, "God damn."
I'll say this. I'll say this to your point. I understand where you're coming from, Scott, but this is the reason that I have to push back. Though you may not believe that it has anything to do with the color of their skin, it just basically has to do with football and everything like that. The overwhelming amount of numbers that you see tells you a story. And I can say this in all sincerity, and I am not saying that I don't want this to happen, people. Guarantee you there will never be a gay head coach. I guarantee it. The only player in the NFL that is openly gay and is a fucking baller is Carl Nassib. Michael Sam was a fucking prop. And I'm sorry, people. He was. Everybody knew Michael Sam wasn't no damn good. He couldn't play no football. He was a prop. They used him. And it was unfortunate that they did, because you shouldn't be doing that. And he shouldn't have allowed that. But at the end of the day, it's the numbers that give me a reason to say that my argument is valid, because it's not all about, merit and what you've done and where you can get a team and what you can do. We all know in this world, a lot of the times it's not what you know, it's who you know. At the end of the day, I can tell you right now, I've gotten at least 3 out of I don't know how many jobs based off of who I knew. And that's just sometimes what it is, and if you talk, they talk, and you speak their language, they bring you in. D'Amico Ryans he has probably a really good resume. Number one, he was a player. You give him, those players will give him that respect off the bat because he understands, he's sympathetic to their plight. But I don't think he should be a head coach right now. He just got into being a fucking coordinator. You can request to interview him, but I honestly don't. Bro, I think you need at least 2 years at that DC position, get your feet wet, get everything comfortable, and then go for it. But there are 7, 8 head coaching vacancies? So the time will tell who fills what. And to be honest with you, Brian Flores in Minnesota would look good. It would really look good, because I feel like he would help that defense who struggles every now and then. And then at the same time, all you really got to do is just figure out another quarterback, because we all know Kirk Cousins is hot garbage. He's pads his stats, but that's just me. But we got to get back to the show, people. So sorry for the rant. I just need to bring that up. It was hard for me, and it just was a little off.
No. It was a glaring topic that was happening in the week. So I'm glad you brought it up, because if it wasn't for you, I would have certainly brought it up.
I saw your video the other day, Dion, when it broke, when you were in your car. The time difference sometimes works now a favour in the UK. And what you're saying today, you said the other day, and it really resonated with a UK fan. Sometimes we don't understand the workings. So I just wanted to say I really appreciated your video the other day.
Oh yeah, man. That's, believe me, that's what I said, man. Carl's on top. If you guys ever have Carl is a wealth of knowledge, and he looks at these situations and he understands it, and so does Nick. And Nick, by the way, your graphic in the background with your green screen is fucking hilarious. I love that. I want him to keep pissing on every fucking body. R. Kelly, the whole NFL.
But see,
And
it
I'm
looks
talking
like
about R.
he's
Kelly
pissing
from
on-
Dave Chappelle show. I
looks
want
like
to
he's
be
pissing
on
on
you.
Nick, though, for jumping off his bandwagon in the first
Oh, that's
half of that
fucked
game
up.
last week.
Dang, come on, man. I turned that into a compliment. You just completely destroyed it. And here's Scott, guys.
Yeah, I do like my green screen background, and thanks once again to L Sleepy Floyd on Twitter. I said to him, "Can you do me something special for the rivalry?" And he came up with Jimmy G pissing all over the star and pissing all over the Cowboys helmets. So much respect to him for that. Right, we're going to get up out of here very, very shortly. We're going to go through final thoughts. Carl, final thoughts for Super Wildcard Weekend. The floor is yours, and let everyone know where they can follow you. Let everyone know your YouTube channel that you run, but then don't answer comments, as me and Scott know all about.
You can find us on Twitter at TFIBUK20, YouTube channels 2 Feet and Bounds. You can also follow us on our podcast platforms as well, on iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. My final thoughts for Wildcard Weekend: go Pats, fuck the Bills, fuck the Cowboys, Shank Club NFL rules, and Steelers going Super Bowl!
You've
I
stolen my
almost,
thunder.
I almost believed you right up until that last statement. Paul, let everyone know where they can find you on Twitter, etc., what podcasts you're involved in, and your final thoughts.
Yeah, so my personal Twitter account at Paul_Hope10. Scott, give us a follow last week, so I appreciated that. We've had a bit of banter. Shant Club, there's been a good exposure. I've had a lot more followers. I'm also part of the 49er Faithful UK group. We do a weekly podcast. As I said earlier, I called a 31-28 victory for the 49ers on Sunday. Don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be a roller coaster. And that's my final thoughts for the weekend.
Nice one. Appreciate you. Freddie, you've put the crack pipe down long enough. Don't pick it up again. Let everyone know where they can find you on Twitter. Let everyone know your final thoughts on the Steelers game. Sorry.
Do people really want to find me on Twitter? I'm just going to get abused most of the game tomorrow night, I suspect. If it's anything like the Browns game last year, I'm going to get a lot of stick. But yeah, I'm at Freddie Harper Dav on Twitter. So if you want to follow me, you can. Yeah, my thoughts are that Scott, I haven't told him about our secret weapon yet, that we're picking up some players that haven't made the playoffs to come into our team. So Justin Herbert's going to be at quarterback. And we've got a running back with Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, and Najee Harris. So good luck, because you're not going to stop our stealing of non-playoff teams who are coming over to play for the Steelers, because they want Big Ben to get one more title. And I will say this: good luck to the Niners fans tomorrow. I will back you all the way. As I backed you against the Rams last week, and you got the job done. So good luck.
Yeah. And as you just said, everyone wants the Big Ben to get one more Super Bowl. Said nobody ever, except Steelers fans. Scott, let everyone know your podcast, where they can find you, especially if you lose to the sorry ass Steelers.
Yeah, no, you can find us at Chiefs Kingdom Live on YouTube. I've got the @ down there, Chiefs Kingdom abbreviated live, right down there in the little bar. It's obviously Chiefs focused, so if you're not a Chiefs fan, you might not get into it that much. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to these games. I'm looking forward to its playoffs. It's the reason that they play the season, right? Is the saying is for this time of year. So let's just hope for some good games. Freddie, if you were able to go out and get Justin Herbert and Jonathan Taylor and some of these, you might only lose by 20, so might not be as embarrassing of a loss. But yeah, no, I have a good time. I really do have a good time interacting with y'all on Twitter. Definitely go give everybody on here a follow. And I put it out there this week. Chiefs at the 49ers next season, man. We need to figure out a way to get the crew together out there in Northern California for that game. That would be the shit, man. I'll get the hotel. So we need to figure out a way to make that happen. Good luck to everybody's teams this week. Let's have some good football, and we'll be back next Saturday.
But you won't be in the playoffs. So do we invite non-playoff fans onto here on the next weekend? Because Scott won't be here.
He went back to the crack pipe that quick. That's when he went off camera for, Nick.
Freddie, you need to stop going to the well, mate. You need to stop it.
I'm telling you now, Freddie, if the Steelers beat the Chiefs, I am going to make you honorary host for next Saturday. That's how confident
I'm not here next Saturday, so you can if you like. But
he's got his get out clause already.
Will probably say the show would be a lot better.
He's got his get out clause already.
The show will be a big upgrade next Saturday. That's all I'm saying.
And we have got a special announcement coming up about next Saturday, which I'll go through in my final thoughts. Ryan, let everyone know where they can find you, what your podcast, YouTube channel, etc., is.
Yes, sir, Nick. Where you can follow me at JMSY168. That's Joe Montana Steve Young, 168, their jersey numbers. And of course, you follow me, my co-host, and my brothers, and of course, the faithful ones on our new channel, Always Faithful 24/7. All right. So, and it's been doing great. We had Breezy from MBN and Nitty Gritty on our latest guest host. So go check it out. It was a great one. I was very happy to be with them, have one there, and we had a great time. So, yep, that's all I got. Let's go Niners.
Dion, let everyone know where they can find you, your podcast, your YouTube, etc. And any final thoughts?
You see the name right there, Not a Gang Podcast. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me at SwiftD on Twitter, SWIFTDEE. You can find me at 49er_Dion on Instagram. Final thoughts are, this is going to be a fantastic weekend of football. I'm just happy because I get to watch it and see it. And for me, my only thing is, the most watched game of the weekend will be 49ers versus Cowboys. People do not understand that rivalry stretches back years and years and years and years. And people, if you haven't been on Peacock, watch that Cool Under Pressure, man. It is fantastic. It's week after week, episode after episode, man. And Peacock is it's free. There's no reason you can't watch it. If you're a Niner fan, it's free, goddammit. Like, literally, it's fucking free. So that will be the most watched game of the weekend. It's going to be a close one. I agree with Paul. Probably about I've been saying about 3 to 7 points at a max, unless we just go in there and blow the socks off of these cats. I think it'll be a wonderful game to watch. We will win. We will be victorious. And at the end of the day, go Niners and fuck everyone else.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Next Saturday, 2:30 UK, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 AM Pacific. I had to write that down. No one saw that, but I wrote that down so I didn't fuck it up.
Sometimes you need a script. In these things.
Indeed. Next Saturday, we have a very special guest coming on, linked to the 49ers only by the fact that he was played many positions on the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. I believe he was center, possibly, or guard. I'm sure Scott will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he played
He played center, guard, tackle, some tight end. He did it all.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
And he actually caught a touchdown pass from the GOAT, the real GOAT. And he did put out a GIF of it earlier, or GIF, whatever you want to say. Joe Valerio, hopefully I've pronounced his name right.
Yep.
Is on the show next Saturday. Really looking forward to it. Anytime you get an ex-player getting involved in any sort of show or coach, whatever, it's always interesting to hear the inside track, what it's like to play, especially with someone like Joe. I'm sure he's got many Joe stories and other things that he can share with us. So really looking forward to next Saturday. It's going to be an interesting show. So tune in, usual time, same place, same people, different shit. I am going to try. I didn't realise Peacock was free, so I'm going to stick it on and see if I can hunt that show down, because I've seen a lot of clips on it and it does look very, very good. Niners are in the playoffs. We scraped in. Let's keep that momentum going. Jimmy G, don't fuck it up. Kyle Shanahan, keep it simple. And just win, baby. This is the Shank Club NFL. My name is Nick. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Paul, Freddie, Mr. Smug, Ryan, Dion, Red Jet Shell earlier on. It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed the show. But I am fucking freezing and I'm going in the house. Take care, everyone. Hopefully everyone enjoys their games except Freddie. Well, he might enjoy them.
Sweet dreams, Freddie.
Good luck to everyone. This is the Shank Club NFL. We're out. Don't forget, next Saturday, same time, same place, special guest. Peace out, everyone. Have a good week. Take care.
Go Niners!